Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here, and it's Monday, and we lost to the Mavericks yesterday in a very, very disappointing game. And once again, Raptors fans, or not Raptors fans, Raptors Nation, are overreacting 3 games into the season. Oh my gosh. This is the one part of things that I really, really can't stand. We heard after the first game of the season against Atlanta, our coach say we can't decide anything about this team at least 20 games into the season. This is the beginning of the season, and we're trying to work things out. And one of the things we've obviously got to work out for this season right now is our defense. Our defense has been absolutely horrible, pretty much for all 3 games. It's just against Atlanta we could get away with having a horrible defense and still win, but we couldn't against players like Giannis, Anthony Davis. We couldn't. And, the stuff that's going on with our defense, this is the thing. Casuals are going to go overreact and say, we have no defense. We suck. We're going to be horrible this whole year just from a couple of games. That is wrong. We're going to fix this shit. We did this last year. Last year, we didn't play very good defense for part of the season. And then by the end of the year, we were playing really good defense. The whole year is a work in progress. You start at a certain place, and it's a journey. You go forward throughout the whole season, and you learn, and you get better. And, well, an area the Raptors have to remember and get back to and get better at is defense again. In some ways, we're doing some of the stuff we'd like to do, but we're not doing it totally. In some ways, we're having very bad problems right near the basket. Most of the stuff outside in the middle of the court and on the outside is fine. It's just right next to the basket. Our defense has been ineffective. And, I really do think a lot of this centers around the center. That, Jakob is not 100%. It's obvious. He is having problems with his back. And for this reason, I think that we're ineffective where we're normally very, very effective. That, if we have to do this, Bobby or Darko, sit Jakob to rest him fully for a little while, that would be smart, because if we're going to keep putting him out there and he's ineffective and he's hurt, that's not going to do us any good. Now, the Raptors in some ways need to rededicate themselves to rebounding and defense. There's certain things that they're just not doing that they have done well in the past year that they've forgotten and they need to get back to. This is something that our coaches and them will go over and tape and practice, and they will get better at this. Everybody who's chicken littling today saying, oh, this and this, you need to just pause. Once again, this is 3 games into the season, and y'all sound so stupid when you overreact so fully to just a small sample of NBA games that they played in. Last night was not good. I know. Last night looked stupid. Last night was pissing me off too. In fact, I was having trouble staying awake for that game last night. I don't know why. I was extremely tired. And by the end of the game, when the game was over, I passed out. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to sleep. I got to get up and do a reaction and a preview tomorrow. And I got to be ready for that. And that's what we're doing this morning. We're going to do that right now. In fact, I'm going to start with the preview. We'll react to the Dallas game. I got the box score. I got my stars of the game. But I'm going to go ahead and do the preview for San Antonio right now because we're playing tonight. And it doesn't get any easier. We're playing Wemby. And this is some serious shit. Scott, after the game, talking about playing Wemby. Yeah, this is a serious thing, man. This is a serious thing. But you know what? The NBA world's a crazy place, fans. We could look so bad against Dallas on the first night of back-to-back, and then all of a sudden miraculously beat the Spurs because we play so well. So be ready for that too, just possibly, NBA fans, Raptors fans. You overreact so hard on a loss, you'll overreact so hard on a win too. And you know what? This is possible. 2 teams meet on NBA court. 1 team's going to win. And, well, we could beat the Spurs if we play right and we have things go our way and certain things happen. So let's stop overreacting so much, Raptors fans. And everybody, listen, this is when the people who hate us get the knives out, start stabbing us in the back. We have a loss where our defense is bad, and half-assed Raptors fans come in the comment section saying, see, I told you this team is bad. See, I told you Scotty sucks. See, I told you this GM and this coach are awful. All this bullshit. They see us have some failure, and our enemies come into our spaces and start throwing knives in our back. And I wish people would understand that. No good Raptors fan is throwing this team out in the garbage this morning just because of one bad game. No good Raptors fan is doing that this morning. The shitty Raptors fans are doing that this morning, throwing it out like it's garbage on a garbage day. Yeah, oh, fuck the Raptors. I knew they were shitty. Oh, okay, you have a low attention span, and you're too quick to judge, piece of shit, motherfucker. So you go ahead and think that they're shitty for the rest of the year from one game. You go ahead, you half-ass casual fan who's a piece of shit. And honestly, I don't even watch in my Raptors fan nation. Because if you're willing to give up on them that quick and make all the judgments for the whole entire year from one fucking game, you're a fucking idiot. And I'll say that right now. So I'll say this, stand by your team, allow them for failure, and let them get their shit back together and come back better the next time. Because everybody who's in our sections in the comments, writing all their bullshit right now, if you are talking anti-Raptors, you were never a fan in the first place. So get the fuck out. I don't want you in my fan nation. If you're ready to stab them in the back, go in on them right now. Oh, they're horrible. Scotty's not a leader. Trade him. How did Bobby build such a shitty team around Scotty? All the bullshit I'm hearing this morning, and it makes me so mad because it makes me realize there's a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing around our fan nation, a bunch of piece of shit half-ass fans who won't stand by their team through thick and thin. They are not ride or dies. They are fucking casuals who will fucking turn that knife into the back of our team with the first chance they get. And that's how I say it right now. Whether you're criticizing Darko, whether you're criticizing Scotty, whether you're criticizing the rest of the team, whether you're criticizing IQ, whether you're criticizing Bobby Webster, pause, shut the fuck up, and nobody needs to hear your ass because you are not helping anything, and your opinion don't mean jack shit because it's misinformed, and you are going to get proven wrong in the next couple of weeks anyway. Just like all those jackasses said a bunch of shit about Scott in the preseason, you're misinformed and you're full of shit and you're a traitor and you fucking want to turn the knife in the side of us after one loss this year this way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. We see where you stand. Go ahead and stand over there and don't fucking come near me where I am with the real ones. That's what I say to that right now. That's what I say to that right now. All right, let's do the preview for tonight. We are playing the Spurs. There is no injuries listed. Colin Murray-Boyles was taken off the injury list yesterday afternoon, and he made his NBA debut, and he sucked. I'm going to say that right now. Colin, you were horrible. Yeah, welcome to the big leagues, Murray-Boyles. This is harder than you thought. You came in smiley and like, I'm going to do this. I got NBA strength. No, motherfucker. The speed and the strength of the regular season is different than summer league and preseason. And you found that out right away, didn't you? Don't be so casual, Colin. You need to fucking wake up and take your life seriously, or you may not be a full-fledged NBA player because you looked like ass last night. You were messing up all different ways. Don't casually pass pass you did in South Carolina across the lane like this. Oh, I can do this pass. No, you can't. It's the NBA, motherfucker. You can't pass the ball like that. That will get picked off and go the other way. And if you're near the basket and you get the ball, Colin Murray-Boyles, you better go up strong and fucking dunk that ball. Instead of pussyfooting around and standing by the basket. Oh, I got the ball. Oh, what do I do? You need to fucking elevate and dunk it, motherfucker. You need to do that. You don't need to stand there like a deer in headlights and, what do I do? No, you need to fucking dunk that shit and figure out your life while you're at it. Because seriously, Colin, horrible debut. And meanwhile, I'm looking at Kirkwood Flag running around circles on the Raptors last night, dunking on us and doing all this shit. And meanwhile, you're behind because you've had an injury and you've missed a bunch of time. So you better get your ass going. Jacoby Walter was able to catch up last year. Colin Murray-Boyles, you better light a fire in your ass right now and take this shit more seriously because you look casual as fuck out there and you looked horrible in your first game out there. Seriously. No injuries for the Raptors today. Although if they sat Jakob tonight, I wouldn't be upset. Seriously, they probably need to. Luke Cornett is on the injury list for the Spurs. He has an ankle injury. He was out yesterday, but we'll have to see if he plays today. He's day-to-day. Lindy Walters III is out with an eye injury, so he probably will be out today too. Our old friend Kelly Olynyk has a heel injury, and he was out yesterday. He's probably likely out today too. De'Aaron Fox has been hurt to start the season with a hamstring injury. It doesn't look like he'll be playing. And Jeremy Sohan has separated his left wrist. How do you do that? Separate your wrist? That don't make no sense. And he'll miss opening night against the Mavericks. And it looks like he's still out. So Jeremy Sohan's out also. So who are the Spurs this year? Let's go look at their depth chart. De'Aaron Fox is out as their starting point guard. So they probably start like Dylan Harper or something like that. I don't know. The rookie Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, rookie of the year last year. Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes at forward, and then Victor Wembanyama at center. That's a tough matchup right there. They've also got Julian Champagnie, who's been jumping into the starting lineup. I guess maybe he'll start in the place of De'Aaron Fox. Then we've got Sohan and Cornette, who are likely to be out. Sohan's out. Cornette is day-to-day. Kelly Olynyk is out. Keldon Johnson off the bench for them still. Jordan McLaughlin as a backup guard. Carter Bryant, one of their other rookies, is around. Bismack Biyombo got picked up by them this summer. He is on the team. We should see him play tonight. And yeah, that's pretty much their team for the Spurs this year. They are undefeated. They have won all 3 of their games so far this year, and Wemby is on fire. Wemby has been absolutely electric. Wemby is showing that he has jumped to another level already in his 3rd year now. And he is very, very dangerous. If you're a Spurs fan, you should be very, very happy because it looks like y'all are ready to win again with Wemby at the helm and the leadership. So, yeah, Victor Wembanyama is a real problem. Oh, yeah, he is, Scotty. And, well, he's playing exceptionally well so far to start this season. In fact, when I do the keys to the path to the win, to the victory, you know what? It's going to be very obscure. Not obscure. It's going to be very abstract. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's do the ref report real quick for today's game. Our crew chief today will be Mark Lindsay, the family guy, number 29 out of Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, his 19th season. Mark Lindsay loves the show Family Guy. His favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption. He listens to Dave Matthews Band. His favorite book is Can't Hurt Me. He likes the Apple podcasts. He'd most like to visit Rome, his family trip to Italy, and his hidden talent is spelling. Spelling. That's right. We had Mark Lindsay during the preseason for a preseason game. Lindsay considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be Game 5 of the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Now, Mark Lindsay is a very favorable referee to the Raptors. He has been a good Raptor ref. And we win 56% of our games when he's refereeing. He's in the light blue zone, and that's pretty good. 56% winning. That's very, very good. Now, meanwhile, the Spurs win 51%. So the head ref is favoring the Raptors today, 56 to 51% winning percentage over the Spurs. That's a good sign. We got the crew chief, at least, favoring us statistically. The second ref is Ray Acosta out of New Jersey, Elizabeth, 9th season, number 54. His favorite TV show is The Sopranos. He likes the movie Scarface. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. He likes the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll eat anything Italian. His favorite app is Netflix. He'd most like to visit the Maldives. His bucket list is to be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. And his hidden talent is dancing. Yeah, we had Ray Acosta in the preseason also. Acosta spent 6 years as an NBA G League referee working in the All-Star game and finals in 2017. Ray Acosta is the ref that favors the Spurs today. He is in the red zone, just above Scott Foster. They have a very similar record with the Raptors, 44% winning with Ray Acosta and the Raptors. Meanwhile, the Spurs win 46% of their games. It's not very much of a difference, but 44 to 46 for the Spurs with the second ref, Ray Acosta. The third ref is Pat O'Connell, who's a junior ref and has not reffed either one of these teams very much. Number 90 in his first season out of Bayonne, New Jersey. This is his first official season as an NBA official. His favorite TV show is The Sopranos also. So maybe Ray Acosta and Pat O'Connell are having a Sopranos binge watching party in the hotel the night before the game. Woke up this morning and went down to San Antonio. His favorite movie is Wedding Crashers. His favorite musician, J. Cole of the Scarborough Shooting Stars. His favorite book is Legends and Souls. He likes to eat steak, and I wonder if he likes it medium rare like I do. Favorite app is Peloton. He must like to visit Italy. So there you go. Maybe you and Mark Lindsay can go to Italy, and you and Ray Acosta can watch The Sopranos. His bucket list is to attend the Olympics. Okay, Pat O'Connell. Yeah, Pat O'Connell is in his first season as an NBA staff official. As a non-staff official, he's refereed NBA regular season games in 2021, 2022. That's 3. And the next year, 6. 7 in the next year, and 6 last year. So you do the math. That man has refereed a total of 22 games in the history, in his history. Now, he has ref the Raptors and the Spurs a couple times, but neither team has won a game with Pat O'Connell. Both teams have 0 winning percentage. The Raptors are 0-3 when Pat O'Connell's around, and the Spurs are 0-1. So that's something's going to get a win with Pat O'Connell as the referee today, finally. So, yeah, we'll have to see. 0-0 is the split with the junior ref, first-year ref, Pat O'Connell. So, yeah, there's a ref crew. It's pretty even. It's very even. You got one guy who's no team is one underneath. You got one guy, the crew chief, who's favoring the Raptors, and then you got Ray Acosta, who's favoring the Spurs. So it's a very even crew. And I like Mark Lindsay. I think Mark Lindsay, even though he's Philadelphia referee mafia, new generation, he's still a good ref. He's a very fair guy. He's a very his demeanor is very good with how he runs the game. So yeah, Ray Acosta, I don't trust worth jack shit. He's a problem. But for the most part, Mark Lindsay, the crew chief's good, and Pat O'Connell can go either way. He's a wild card because he's a rookie ref, and he could be shitty to us. He very much could be shitty to us. So yeah, there's your ref report for the game tonight. Lindsay, Acosta, O'Connell. That's your ref crew for tonight. I'll go look and see who's at the replay center because the replay center has mattered. You know, last night the replay center mattered for seeing some dick on dick crime. That's right. They had to go and watch that, huh? You had to go and watch that a little bit more, Pat Frayer, huh? Yeah. Why did you have to go watch that? I mean, seriously, you wanted to see if that was a flagrant, like Grady Dick was trying to hit somebody in the dick? Like, seriously? You think that was actually intentional? That Grady wanted to hit somebody in the dick? I think because his last name is Dick, he's trying to avoid people hitting people in the dick because that would be a bad, funny meme, right? And it already probably is this morning. Dick on dick violence. That's right. There was a little bit of dick on dick violence last night, and Pat Frayer had to make sure it was all clear and not flagrantly a dick on dick violence. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. In the replay center tonight, Aaron Smith, CJ Washington, John Conley, and Natalie Sago. So I don't know why they have 4 there. Maybe it's because there's a lot of games and they got to all be there and ready just to talk to each game that's going on for the night. Yeah. All right, let's get into the chat. Y'all, I will take your phone call today. It is a reaction stream. So if you do want to voice your opinion on what happened last night, I'd love to talk to you. Even if it's, you're upset, or even if you have like, critique, whatever it is, if you want to call, the phone line is open today to go on the air because it is a reaction stream technically. So yeah, let's get into the comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. I know you have a lot of opinions on what you saw from the Raptors last night, and let's sort it all out. And let's make sure we get everything figured out to go forward in a positive way and not just burn down the whole house like some Raptors fans are ready to do already, which is absolutely asinine and ridiculous, honestly. Trevor J saying this first, words of wisdom. You don't set a goal to achieve something. You set a goal to become someone. Most people, fall because, hang on, there's a period there all of a sudden. That's weird, man. Punctuation matters, Trevor, because it's going to give me the beats and the stops and when I'm going to talk. And in some ways, it's like if you're going to continue the sentence, don't put a period in there, my guy. You don't. All right, let me start over because this is so awkward right now already. You don't set a goal to achieve something. Okay. You set a goal to become someone. Most people fall because they want the reward without the change that comes with it. If you have a burning desire to change, you'll achieve any goal you want. I like that. Yeah, to get changes or achieve things or do things, you do have to do things that may be uncomfortable. You may have to, go out of your comfort zone to do these kind of things and to get the things that you want. And I totally agree with this. I think that, if you want to set a goal, have a plan and figure out how you're going to execute it. And then hopefully you'll get it. And that's what I say to that. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. It's not easy to change sometimes, but sometimes it's necessary to change to get the goals that you want. That's right. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying this also. Darko has to fix the defense because right now they're getting beat on defense too much, driving to the lane. Yes. In some ways, look, Jakob Poeltl is the best low post defender on our team. When he is hurt and he is not able to move around quick enough, we see that he's a problem and we cannot get stuff done. In fact, at times on the court, Sandro Mamu was a better defensive choice because of his mobility and getting around. In some ways, I want Scott to rededicate himself to just holding down the territory around the basket. This would help, Scotty, seriously, because in some ways, the biggest need that we need right now as a team is we need more low post defense and rebounding. And since you're a glue guy, you're a guy who can fill any kind of need, you need to recognize this and maybe give more of your energy in helping Jakob with the big man duties. I think that would help. And I think if Yak got healthy and could be the normal Yak, that would help the most. So we've got to try and recapture the seal around the basket. That is what I talk about. And this is what we're lacking right now. You need a seal, which means you keep people away from the basket. You need people that are going to get in the way. They're going to stop people. And right now we don't have that. Business is open. They left the door open and people just sneaking in and going up there and getting dunks and layups and easy shit. And we can't have that. And I'm sure that as much as the fans are calling it out and saying stuff like Trevor's just said here, we need a change in the defense. Yeah, Darko and them are very well aware of this. And I'm sure they're going to try their best to figure this out. I would say this once again, Raptors coaches. If the team is struggling from defense, they need to put the team out there that will play harder on defense. And at the end of the game, Darko put the second unit out early and took the starters out. In some ways, people are like, whoa, were you trying to win the game or not? Because you put those guys out there. That's what Michael Grange asked after the game. And Darko said, I wanted to give the second unit a chance to try and make a difference. And, in some ways they did. We saw more hurried activity from J-Mo and Jamal Shed and Grady and Battle in that lineup that was out there at the end. And even Grady and Battle started helping each other make threes off each other. Grady guarding the defender away so Battle could shoot a three over his shoulders. That was actually a really good stretch of the game because the Raptors were kind of catching up. But once again, the defense wasn't good enough. And it's tough because you're playing against two long-arm players that are top level in Giannis and AD in the last two games. And holding those guys down and stopping them is easier said than done. And in some ways, Scotty wants to be a defensive stalwart who takes on the toughest assignments across the court. Well, you need to hold down Giannis and AD better, Scott, if that is what you want to do and aspire to be one of the best defenders in the league. Because you can't let these guys drop 30-point games on us with easy dunks and layups right in the basket. That's no good. So I don't know. Maybe Bobby does need to make a trade to get a more of a defensive enforcer and add a little bit more physicality up front. Some Raptors fans are saying that this morning. And in some ways, you know what? If things keep going this way, I'm going to start joining with you as far as the chorus of saying, yeah, the Raptors need better defenders up front, especially if Jakob is on the down low hurt and he is not able to fulfill what he normally does for the team. If Jakob's not hurt, a lot of these issues are not happening right now. And y'all don't get mad at Yak because he's hurt. Seriously, that's not totally his fault. In some ways, people get hurt and they're ineffective at times. When he gets healthy again, he's going to be the same old Yak, and he's going to be badass again. Darko's saying that him missing part of training camp and having the lower back injury is definitely affecting him right now. And we love Yak. It's not like, oh, he's messed up, cast him away. No, that's what casuals say. That's what dumbasses say. That's what idiots say that don't understand basketball, injuries, and what's going on and how they work and all that. They're just dumbasses, honestly. Honestly, they are dumbasses. Trevor J saying, happy game day. This one is a big test tonight. Yeah, the word big is right. You're playing against a 7'5" man, a man that is called an alien because he is not like anybody else on this earth. Because that motherfucker is 7'5" and he shoots threes and dribbles like a guard. Yeah, he's a serious threat and he's a serious problem. And well, you know what? How about this, Raptors fans? We played so bad last night. We played bad on Friday against Milwaukee. This is the NBA. What if we come out and beat the Spurs and put them to 3-1 tonight and we win our game tonight? Because that's how the NBA is, y'all. Our players could be really pissed off with the shitty effort and the way they played against Dallas last night. And they may be like Texas two-step right into a badass game where they're going to kick the Spurs' ass. So don't just count them out just because they had such a bad game against Cooper Flagg and the Mavs last night. This is the NBA, and on a night-by-night basis, anything can happen. And the Raptors could beat the Spurs tonight and surprise everybody. And all of a sudden, everybody in Raptors Nation will be singing different tunes about how they feel about the Raptors. Because, oh, they beat Wemby. Wow, they are awesome. I mean, seriously, is this going to be like this all season, Raptors Nation? I told y'all, let's stay even keeled and not overreact so hard. And y'all have already failed the assignment as of last night. Already failed the assignment as of last night. Let's see. Yeah, Trevor J saying this. Martin did the Tristan Thompson bullshit, running up the score at the end. Was what an idiot. I have no problem with that. I saw what he did right at the end of the game. And in some ways, he just made it a 10-point win for them. It's not a big deal. That's within the clock. There's nobody there. I know that, we there's no reason to get mad about this. We're going to lose either way. It's a showing up thing or something like that. This is something that I don't normally get pissed off about. And we could get pissed off at Tristan because of the way he did it in Toronto, but this is different. The Martin layup at the end of the game last night was, not a big deal. He's already in motion going that way. Maybe he's stat padding. Maybe it is, don't make it a 10-point margin, whatever. It's not that big deal. And honestly, let's not do this. Let's not go on watch at the end of the game saying, oh, this guy's showing us up or something. And nobody got that feeling from Caleb Martin doing that last night. If you did, just don't, because I didn't. I don't care. He laid up a shot right at the end of the buzzer. He needed a stat pad to make sure he got like some points per game or something like that. Either way, it wasn't as bad as Tristan's. Tristan's was very, very not right. Very not right. This one's not as big a deal. It really wasn't. The margin, I don't want to do this. Let's not do this for all 82, where we're looking for people that are showing us up. Let's not do this unless it's for real and it's actually a big deal. Let's not manufacture bullshit is what I'm saying right here. And I feel like that it's not that big of a deal. Seriously, it's not that big of a deal about that. So Trevor, I don't think it's a big deal. Trevor's saying this. Why are we missing so many easy shots around the basket? You know what? I'm going to say this. Part of the thing that I'm upset about with the Raptors and their offense right now is they're not really guided. They're not really directed. They're improvising too much. And part of the problem is they're going and they're getting paint touches. They're getting the ability to get near the basket, but they're passing up shots. It's like Manuel will go down low. He'll dribble around into the lane and he'll come back out. Or, they'll drive through the lane and they'll just be looking to pass before even shooting. I want these guys to have more of an idea of what they're trying to do in some ways, as far as if you have a move towards the basket, execute and have some sort of game plan where you make a shot at the end of it. Because there's too much leaping in the air or trying to go towards the basket, and they're not going up hard enough or aggressive enough. The difference is what you saw in Sandro. Sandro was very aggressive going to the basket with dunks and layups, and some of our other guys are hesitant and sheepish, and they're not going into the paint area with the idea to score. Some of them are thinking pass first before score, and it's ruining their decision-making, and we're half-assing. We need to execute. We need to have Brandon, seriously, you're a great scorer. I know that you're supposed to pass a little bit more on our team than usual, but if you guys got to be aggressive to take your shot when you do get your own shots and stop trying to make an extra pass and screwing things up. There was one point where we dropped the ball off to Colin Murray Boyles. He was right next to the basket. He should have elevated and dunked it. Instead, he looked for another pass to Jakob, which was the wrong move. Seriously, people have to realize when they have the best possible shot and take it up. And some of this is, going in the basket, getting inside, and then kicking it all the way out to the three-point line. That's not the best move, especially if you did have a shot at the basket. So I want them, and this is how I described it last night in the Discord. I feel like the Raptors are running their offense like they're at Rico Hines runs. I feel like they're not really running true play sets. I feel like they're improvising too much, and I feel like they're half-assing too much. I feel like they need to take it more seriously and be more cutthroat about trying to execute and win and mismatches and going and picking apart the other team's defense. Don't play it like you're at Rico runs, y'all. That's too casual. And that's too let's just laissez-faire play through and we'll just get this and this and this. No, you can't play like you're at Rico runs, Raptors. You're in the NBA. It's regular season. And you need to have a game plan. Now, I don't want to criticize Darko and the coaches, but y'all need to fucking make them play game plans and play sets. And they need to have actual direction as far as this is the kind of stuff we want to do in this trip down the court. And they need to stop half-assing shit, whether they're clustering in the same place and it's too congested, whether they're not actually trying to. Part of the problem is they're not shaking defenses off of them well enough. That they need to move the ball around more, or they need to have better pick and rolls. They need to start picking people off of opponents, off of their teammates, so that they get more open. There's all kinds of different ways the Raptors can help each other score more. You know, we saw an interesting drive action by Brandon and Scotty last night where they both drove into the lane, and there was some fruit to that. There was some nice stuff that happened from that. But, you know, in some ways, if Jakob was more healthy, I would love to see more pick and rolls with IQ, because we had a lot of success with that last year. There's a lot of different weapons we could start doing on offense that will make our offense look better and start making shots more often. I mean, hell, let's start setting up Scott in the post way better, in better position, because Scotty, you know, some of the shots that Scott's taking down there, he's missing, but a lot of them he's making. And there's certain areas around that 15 feet in that Scotty is just overpowering, and he'll make most of those shots. And that's why he had a really good game last night. And that's why he's my star of the game, is because he was getting to his better spots and even shot better from three last night too. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things to fix on both ends of the floor. The offense could be way more smoother and more of an eye of a direct execution, and having an end game plan for how you're going to finish what you're doing. In some ways, these guys are going up in the air and they're looking to pass, and they're not looking to score themselves. And that unselfishness on that team is great. But at a certain point, some of these guys need to be aggressive and be taking points. I want points. Brandon can score throughout the game and do that. You know, RJ's doing his part. You know, Scotty's doing his part. Other people need to step up and do their part too, and be hungry and say, I'm going to get my points right now. That's part of it too, right there. That's part of it too, right there. Nako's here. Good to see Nako the Nacho. Good morning, Gerald. Yes, that third quarter, Scotty, Sandro, and I guess BI were our best. Scotty was probably in the best player in that game, probably Flag best game so far. Yeah, Flag had his best game as an NBA player so far, his third game. He was getting breakaway dunks. And yeah, he looked really good. He looked as advertised. In some ways, he's living up to the hype right now. In some ways, I could hear the pain in Scott's voice after the game saying, you know, yeah, this guy's really good already. Scotty, you know, in some ways that should piss you off, because this guy just Johnny come lately on the scene, and he's having things happen for him so easily. Why can't you make things happen more easily for yourself, like Cooper Flag is already? You know, that's something you got to think about, Scott. You want to come along in your career and jump and make the jumps. Well, Wemby's making a jump this year, and Cooper Flag seems like he's already ready to play at a certain level right now. So, Scotty, you need to make your jump. You need to make your jump. I'm serious. My stars of the game. All right, first star of the game last night is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was 34 minutes, 13 of 24 from the field. Fantastic shooting. 3 of 5 from three. That's awesome. You know, we win most games when Scotty gets 2 threes. He was 4 for 5 at the free throw line. 11 rebounds with 4 offensive rebounds. So he was putting in work up there. 6 assists, 1 steal, 5 turnovers, though, a +5 with 33 points. And he was one of the better pluses on our team. So, yeah, 33 points in 34 minutes. Scotty was scoring. Scotty's trying to do stuff. But in some ways, Scott, not to be a critic, in some ways we needed more power on the defensive side to stop them to actually get the win. This is why, you know, all the Raptors fans that just want Scotty to score high level doesn't mean we're going to win. We need to have a balance. And in some ways, maybe Scotty was needed more on the defensive end in some ways because Jakob is ineffective right now. So it's tough. My second star of the game is Sandro Mamu off the bench. He was a fantastic breath of fresh air. If anything, he's looking good as far as a great acquisition for us this year. You know, I'm telling you, I love how aggressive he was going to the basket. I love how he just really plays within himself, and he's a very good teammate. He's helping in all kinds of different areas. You know, if Yak is hurt, seriously, we should consider starting Mamu. You know, Mamu against Wemby is going to be interesting today because Mamu played for the Spurs the last couple years, and in some ways, these are a lot of his friends he's coming to play today. And, well, that'll be interesting fun to see him battle against his old team. Who knows? Maybe Sandro knows more about Wemby than the average player because he practiced against him a lot last year. So who knows? Maybe Sandro Mamukelashvili knows the kryptonite for the big Wembanyama. Maybe. Sandro in 22 minutes, 6 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. They dared him to shoot one, and he made it. 3 for 3 at the free throw line. Only 1 rebound, 3 assists, -6 with 16 points in 22 minutes. He just looks solid. And at times, another thing is our bench scoring was horrible again, and Sandro was pretty much all of it. These guys off the second unit are going to have to do better at getting points. Seriously, we need you guys to get us some points. Second team. Seriously. My third star is Brandon Ingram. 32 minutes, 10 of 16, 2 of 3 from 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, a -15 and 22 points. Yeah, Brandon was fine. We see Brandon really is a top-notch scorer, making lots of nice shots and all throughout the game. And, well, I don't know if we need more of him or we just need other people to step up and contribute more. But I feel like Brandon's pulling his weight. Now, as he gets more comfortable with the team, will we see him getting more of 30-plus games? Probably. He's very capable for doing this, and we've seen how he can just kind of rattle off a bunch of shots. And I like the way he's getting his shots. I feel like they're very high-percentage good shots for the most part, the way he works to get to them. So, I don't have a lot of complaints about Brandon. It's just that we're still in a feeling-out period where we're trying to figure out all different stuff. And him being on the team, and that, he's doing an excellent job shooting. RJ Barrett is my honorable mention. RJ had a fine game. It's just that it was a little bit quieter, and he didn't play as much in the second half. If you noticed, he was not out there later. Only 28 minutes on the court for RJ. 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a +10 with 16 points. Yeah, he could have been a little bit better. But alas, he wasn't horrible. So, yeah, those are my stars of the game. Scotty, Sandro, Brandon, and honorable mention to RJ Barrett. It's tough, man. It's tough. I'll go over the rest of the guys in a second, man. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying Raptors have to clean a lot of stuff up. Very, very poor. Yeah, I mean, I think that they need to rededicate themselves to the defensive energy that they showed this summer and find a way to bring it into the regular season level. And I feel like maybe part of it is the starters need to set that tone from the start. Maybe part of it is that when the bench guys come in, they really need to have a total upgrade as far as the energy and really going all out. I mean, the stuff that they did in the fourth quarter was the right kind of energy, but that's too little too late. And when you already have a 15-point lead on against you and you're trying to catch up on that, you got to be perfect. You got to be awesome at stopping, and you got to be awesome at executing at the other end to make up the margins. And, well, they just didn't do that. And I feel like the third quarter was the disaster area where everything kind of just fell to shit, and Dallas just went on a run and just got a nice cushion. We were very even with them the first half and playing pretty toe-to-toe with them. But on the down low, they were getting a lot of easy stuff, and we were just kind of executing with Brandon and stuff like that and Scotty. And then they busted it open in the third. That's too bad. In some ways, we've got to rededicate ourselves to our energy that we're supposed to be doing. And then and then we'll get success. So we've got to figure this out. In some ways, we've had a lame game. And we had a game that we could have won on Friday if we execute a little bit better. And the free throws, and that was a problem on Friday. In some ways, this loss was worse than the Friday loss for sure. Because the Friday game, we could have actually won, and it was very close. This one's weird because in some ways, they kind of gave up with a big chunk of the fourth quarter still to go. And it is, some of it is probably looking forward to tonight and knowing they got to play the Spurs and resting the starters more late in the game. I mean, that's smart strategy right there. Smooth saying Dallas was leaking out, getting a lot of rim runs. Yeah, they've got, and this is something I should have figured. One of the biggest strengths of Cooper Flagg at Duke was his lobs to Common Malawak and people like that. And, well, he's got amazing lob targets on the Mavericks with Davis and Lively. Those guys are built for what Cooper does. So there's some really interesting synergy there, that can be built, and it's instant already. I mean, you can see it. Lively's just that kind of talent that can jump through the roof. And if Cooper Flagg can throw the ball like that, well, that's a really good combination for the Mavericks going forward. And AD, of course, he's going to be able to do lobs. Look at the man. Look at how he's built. It's crazy, man. So, yeah, very promising stuff for the Mavericks with Flagg and his assists. Yeah, Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. Hope you're doing very well. I wonder how people did on their fantasy this week. That we had our first week of matchups, and we've had the results of those matchups. Let's see what happened in the week 1 matchups that finished yesterday. I did defeat Jason Dukes, the original Raptor Freak Yahoo Fantasy NBA champion. Looks like Logical Raptors Fanatic was successful over Bryce. Andrew beat Cool Cat. Meredith beat Fiercey. James won his matchup with Omari. Gerald ended up beating Kareem. Kaz won his matchup against Amit. And HC beat Nins in the other matchup. Checking in on our fantasy league. And we have our second week starting. So get your lineups set up. There's more action tonight. Slug DZ saying you should be wearing purple after that defensive effort. Yeah, you remember my old rule, Slug DZ. You're right. You're right. You know what? You're right. We'll do this first, and then we'll do the other thing we'll do. Yeah. We'll do this. Yeah, he's right. He's right. He remembers the rules that when the Raptors are really bad and they shit the bed, I have to wear the old purple. Yeah, he's right. That's why I put the purple hat on. Yep. Isaac's here. Good to see Isaac. You live and die by team defense, but the Raptors got to protect the rim and point of attack. Yeah, I don't know, man. Darko and them got to go to the drawing board a little bit and maybe reorient how they're telling these guys to attack the game and maybe get recommitments to this. Once again, one of the biggest strengths we have is depth. So honestly, Darko, you need to go and say, look, all y'all can play, but you only play if you're playing absolutely top-notch defense. If you are not playing top-notch defense, if you're letting people get by you, I'm benching you. And I don't care if you're a starter. You have to play to a certain level of defense because if you don't want to do it, then I'm going to bring in Shed. If you don't want to do it, I'm going to bring in Chucky. If you don't want to do it, I'm going to bring in Jacoby. Because in some ways, that's the thing you do with such good length of depth throughout your team. You want people that are hungry. You want the people that are going to come out there. Maybe on that night, they have a good biorhythm and they're really hungry. Like Jacoby Walters should be very hungry right now. He's got 2 DMPs and has not made his season debut this year yet. And in some ways, I mean, I think he got in for a second maybe the other night. But seriously, he should be very hungry and wondering about what his place is in the rotation. So manipulate this, Darko and the coaches. Get these guys that are dogs, that are the dogs that are really aggressive and angry and wanting to play, and put them out there and put them on the court. And if they don't have it and they get tired and they don't want to do it anymore, you get those other guys back in that we're not getting to play then. You got to keep them hungry, especially since you got depth. And, if these guys aren't putting in the effort of doing it, there's somebody else on the bench that's going to be doing it, Darko. And don't be afraid to say, look, you're not playing the right level of defense tonight. I'm benching you for the second half, and we're putting Jacoby Walter in. Because, this is important. This is important. And with this makeup on our team and this depth and this commitment to defense, you should be getting the people that are willing to put in the work and the effort out there. And the people that are not being effective at what they're supposed to be doing, you got to take them out. I am starting to think that if Jakob is hurt and not able to fully do what he's supposed to do, we may need to get another player that's big for this team. And I can see that possibly. So who knows? If there is going to be a trade this season where we trade somebody important to us, they should be going to get a defensive big. Somebody that can help us hold down things, because in some ways the crew we've got right now is not doing it right. And if that makes you mad, Scotty and Jonathan, y'all need to step up your defense as bigs on this team and play your ass off, because it seems like we need help up front. And, Jakob's hurt. I know when he's healthy, we have that really kind of shored up to a degree, but this is showing a weakness on our team. If Jakob's ineffective because his back's messed up, well, we need Jonathan, Scotty, Sandro, to step up and be better bigs and be better defensive bigs. If we don't have anybody after that, well, where's our Luke Cornett, Bobby Webster? Yeah, where's our Luke Cornett? Because we may need a backup center. Well, can we talk to the Spurs today and say, hey, can we get Bismack on our team real quick? We'll trade you this guy for Bismack right away, right now, because we just need another big that can play defense. That's it. In some ways, I see that, man. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy back-to-back game day. Okay, I'm glad you're happy. It's also, let's just say, it's World Series game number 3 today. So I'm going to switch the hat again because that's what we do. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. The World Series is on again today. Could they win? Let's go, Blue Jays. I've always wanted to win a 3rd World Series, just like you. I've always wanted to live in a world where the Blue Jays just don't lose. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. If the Blue Jays win, hey, 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 would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be World Series champions? Hi, Raptors freaks. I have switched over to the Blue Jays hat because the Blue Jays are playing the Dodgers in LA, and I want to see them beat their ass. Let's go. So a little bit of purple hat today. But, of course, I got to go to the Blue Jays hat. Of course. Fiercely saying this. People turning on the team after one game are straight up casuals. It happens. Get over it and on to the next games. It's immature. A lot of it's very immature. Seriously, it's immature. Did they hurt you because they lost last night? Some of y'all Raptors fans act like that. Listen, I love the Raptors. I live and die with the Raptors, but I don't get hurt by them losing. In some ways, you got to be like, you know what? You fucked up. It's your problem. You messed up. As a fan, I support you and I love you unconditionally, and I want you to do well and do better. But at this point, I have to separate myself and say, look, I'm not feeling this with you. You know what? They did not do well last night. They lost. And you know what? That's part of the problem. I think some of these fans really feel it with them. And they don't like feeling the sad, negative energy. So they get lashing out towards the team. Oh, you made me feel feelings, Raptors. And we lost. And now I feel, because I get all my happiness, whether you win or lose, from you. And it's so sad and pathetic. Separate yourself from the emotions of it. In some ways, you know, the ups and downs of the NBA season are going to be ups and downs. And if you're riding that roller coaster all year, you need mental health. Seriously. You need help. You need somebody to talk to and maybe be like, yeah, I fall apart every time the Raptors lose. Dude, separate yourself and stop lashing out after they lose and acting like a little child. Because seriously, that's half of what this shit is. Seriously. And they are probably really children. Some of them. You know, we don't know who's on Reddit. We don't know who's on X. We don't know who's on Facebook writing this shit. I hate the Raptors. It's a 6-year-old kid in Brampton. Some bullshit like that. You know, that's the thing. We got to understand that everybody online, they have voices. They could be bots. They could be fans of other teams. They could be 5-year-old kids. And we need to take whatever people are saying with a grain of salt. Seriously. Once again, the circle of trust, the Raptors and the coaches and the Bobby Webster and all them are in with them. And none of us, with all our noise this morning, matters to them. They ain't listening to our shit. They're going to watch the tape. They're going to improve, hopefully, and they'll play way better tonight against the Spurs. But yeah, remember, it's probably children writing half this immature crap about the Raptors right now. Seriously, it's probably children. Nago saying this, Spurs are better than the Bucks and the Mavs. Okay, Nako. Okay, water's wet. Seriously, you're not encouraging or making things right. Listen, but I'll just say this. If we beat the Spurs tonight, it'll make a lot of people feel better, won't it? Yeah, it will. And you know what? 2 teams go to a court, 1 team wins. And maybe we could be that team tonight. We'll have to see. You know, you could say that partly because of the record. Sure, you're right. And Wembanyama. I mean, water's wet, Gerald. Water's wet. Tell me something that's not so plainly easy to see. Come on now. Colin Murray-Boyle's passing wasn't great, but there were a few passes from us I didn't love either. Seems like they were reading our skip passes. No, they're casual passes. Brandon had one too where he kind of flipped the ball over. He's either in the game last night or the one before. You know, we can't have half-ass passing. We can't have like casual shit. Y'all can't be lazy with how you play. You need to come correct, and you need to fucking attack and be aggressive and you know, not half-ass shit. And that's part of the problem. Some of the stuff that they're doing on offense is half-assing. Whether it's like, you know, oh, I'm just going to give the ball to him. Oh, you know, don't half-ass your passes. This isn't college, Colin Murray-Boyles. This is fucking NBA. And you have the shit you did at South Carolina, you cannot do anymore. And you have to clean your shit up and get fundamentally better because this is a tough league. It's bigger, faster, and stronger. And in some ways, you have to adjust. And in some ways, you didn't realize the NBA game was that much of an adjustment. You thought it was easy. You're like, oh, I got NBA strength already. My coach told me. I think I can do this. I can do that. No, you can't. And you came out there and you got over. And you were ineffective and you wasted damn time on the court. that we could have given to somebody else on the bench that could have done better with filling your minutes. Sure, you got your NBA debut done, but you didn't do jack shit with it. And honestly, you disappointed me. I expected you to play a lot more with more effort and play a little bit better and make a couple good things happen. But no, you didn't do any of that. You look lackadaisical and comfortable. And in some ways, you haven't earned any fucking comfort out there at all, Colin Murray Boyles. So you need to light a fire on your ass and fucking play better. Seriously. That shit ain't going to cut it. And in some ways, I didn't barely see anything I liked from Murray Boyles last night. I didn't see one thing I liked from him. Not even one. And that's annoying. He's got a hill to climb. I'm telling you, as a player, he's got a hill to climb. Fiercely saying this: are they going to ignore the fact Scotty had a double-double? Seriously, always negative takes, whether win or loss. Indeed, Colin Murray Boyles had a tough game, and I hate to admit it, Flag was phenomenal. Yeah, Flag was really good. He was really, really good. He hit threes, he attacked the rim, and he set up his teammates. Yeah, he was very good. Yeah. Listen, once again, there's people that hate the Raptors. And if the Raptors are down and out and they're having failure, they're coming in with knives. And that's what's happening here. And if there are our own fans that are doing that, shame on you. Shame on you. You're not a fan if you come in with knives like our enemies are right now. And that's the thing. If the Knicks lose a game like they did to the Heat last night, some of our fans and other fans for other nations should be going into Knicks Nation on their social media and pulling it apart, saying, oh, no, we lost to the Heat. The Heat are horrible. They don't even have Tyler Hero. See, we could do this, Raptors fans. We could show the same kind of energy going the other way, and then you will understand the energy that's in our fan nation that is not actually pure, true, or authentic. Go to Knicks Nation right now. Go on their social media and start talking crap about this and this. And Mike Brown's a horrible coach already. They lost to the Heat. Overreact that in their nation just like this. Go fuck up the Celtics nation right now. They're down 0-3. Seriously, we could do this and understand that's the same kind of action around our fan spaces also. Seriously. Knicks fan, Nets fan, Celtics fan, Sixers fan, Warriors fan, Lakers fan. They could all come in and get on our social media and act like they're Raptors fans. They could write a handle, say Raptors smoke or some other bullshit. And they can act like they're one of us, but they really aren't. They're coming in and just throwing a voice in there just to confuse and muddle the situation and make things more difficult to deal with because they just want to be a part of the noise. So we could do this too. Let's go fuck up Celtics Nation on social media. Let's go fuck up Knicks Nation. Let's go talk shit about Nick Nurse and Sixers Nation. So we need to fire Nick Nurse. Joel Embiid will never get us anywhere. We can do the same actions, Raptors fans. Why any Raptors fans that doing this action to us and you call yourself a Raptors fan, why don't you go fucking do what I just said instead? You want to be so critical and talking shit about a basketball team and pulling things apart? Why don't you go pull apart the Boston Celtics a little bit? Yeah, and actually be helpful instead of fucking pulling apart your own damn team. Seriously, if you really love the critiquing and stuff like that, why don't you do this? Seriously, you could use your powers for good and fucking go do that and understand that your equivalent is coming from the other way. And that's why we're hearing some of this shit in our fan nation. If you're a real fan and you're truly for the Raptors, you stand through the thick and the thin with them. And you don't turn the back when they turn you put this knife in their back. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. That's what I'm saying right now. You don't do that. That's right. Nako's saying Wemby's in the top 10. His footwork got way better. I mean, I don't know. I'm not ranking people in 10s and stuff like that. Wemby is definitely one of the most powerful players in the league. That's what we'll say. And his footwork got better probably because he was with Olajuwon. Olajuwon worked with Wemby this summer, and that's probably part of the reason why his footwork is way better. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see you, Shaq Lindsay. I love Scotty's effort, but are we expecting too much from him? Shutting down key players on the opposing team and putting up 20-plus points a night is not sustainable. Some superstars can do that. Seriously, Giannis, to a degree, is able to do this. Giannis was very good defensively the other night and still put up a huge monster 30 and 20 game. Some superstars are able to do this. That's the thing. That's why Scott's got to figure out the next best action all the time. But you're right. In some ways, it is a little bit too much on his plate. In some ways, he's got to gauge that night whether he should be really offensively putting all his energy into offense or the defensive end. I'd say right now with Yak hurt, he needs to be more defensive oriented. But that'll piss off people that don't think Scotty's good unless he scores. So in some ways, I'd say right now, read the room, Scott. Jakob is hurt, and we need you to do more defensively and down low. And in some ways, the offensive stuff's great. I love seeing it. But I'll tell you right now, a version of Scott that played last night with less points probably might have won the game if he had, maybe dedicated himself more to protecting the paint and getting the rebounds and doing some of the big man defensive stuff. I mean, that's what a glue guy has to do. They have to look at what is the most important thing that they need for that game and that night, and they may have to figure it out in the moment and start doing that more. And in some ways, yeah, I think you're right. Maybe that is too much to ask him, Shaq Lindsay. Thank you for supporting the channel, Shaq Lindsay. I appreciate you. Thank you, Fiercely, also, all the supporters of the channel. G saying the league was not going to allow Dallas to go 0-3. I don't think this was a ref manipulation, although the refs were kind of goofy in different ways on some of the calls, but I don't think it was really that. I think we did really get outplayed. And, some of it was a really good plan of like attacking us near the basket. Jason Kidd could probably look at the games we played so far and say the Raptors are weak around the basket. We could totally have open up business down low with AD and do all kinds of stuff easily down there because they let Giannis do whatever he wanted to on Friday. That's why this is important, that we need to stop the bleeding. We need to stop teams from thinking that that's the game plan that they can beat us with right now. We need to absolutely shore up our frontline defense right next to the basket because the scout is out. And, what do you think the Spurs are going to try and do tonight? Yeah, we're going to have to see if we can do a better job on this tonight. We got to, yeah. I don't think that, this is league directed. I think that it's just that, the Raptors, for some reason, are forgetting what they're supposed to be in their identity, and they're not fucking doing it. In some ways. Yeah, maybe there's too many good feelings and people think, oh, we're just going to naturally be okay every game. No, you motherfuckers have to work and you need to play better. And that's the only way this works. You have to be a play hard team. You have to play hard. You got to play all out. And in some ways, some people are not playing all out like they should be. That's right. Good game saying the benches point guards like Russell and Cole go off on the Raptors. Yeah, this has been a problem 2 games in a row. D'Angelo Russell was a huge problem last night. He was talking trash. And he was delighting in kind of taking us apart. I mean, he's a high-level offensive player. He has a lot of problems with his – he has holes in his game, but when he has his strengths really pronounced and full out, he's a real problem. And last night his strengths were on display. He hit that crazy 3 over RJ, and it was contested, and it was right at the end of the shot clock. He was dissecting us by going inside and mixing up with the outside. And, D'Angelo's not the best shooter. He's a career like 30% shooter for the most part. But when he's on and he's a baller like that, he's really hard to stop. And yeah, this is an area where, I mean, I know our team's overall young, but we need somebody to come out there and stop him, whether it's Shed, whether it's Walter, whether it's Abaji, those kind of people. I mean, hell, Murray Boyles, if you can't stop AD, I understand, but maybe you could try and tie up D'Angelo Russell at least. I don't want to play Murray Boyles tonight. I really don't. If he's going to play like he did last night, bro, you don't need to be on the court again tonight. Seriously. You got to earn more in practice and earn the respect to get back in the game. I'm going to be very hard on Colin, especially if he's going to step into his career like the fucking pile of shit that he put out there last night. Seriously, I'm going to be very hard on him if he doesn't fucking get his shit together. Seriously. Yeah, but this is a trend that we're seeing. This is a problem. And people like Shed should be worried about this. Shed be like, why the fuck is Cole Anthony and D'Angelo Russell, the 2 backup point guards, going off on us and destroying us? Jamal Shed. I'll have to say that. And anybody who's on the second team that needs to do stuff, man, hell, activate Chucky Hepburn. Put him out there tonight, Darko. I just want to see if Chucky has NBA chops. If he could translate and do some things to help us immediately, because Chucky could help us with some of this shit. So I'd say activate Chucky as a 2-way, and let's give him a taste of NBA action right now. Seriously. I'm all about that. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying this. Lex, we need Jacob. I always say that. You know what? Let's call him Yak, just so it's not confusing me with Jacoby, because let's say Jakob. Yak tonight. If he's out, Wemby will feast on Mobo. Yeah, I don't think Mobo will be in the starting lineup. It'll be Sandro. And like I said, Sandro played with Victor, and he knows them from practice. So there may be actually an added advantage for having Sandro Mamu start tonight if Jakob is not able to play. And Mobo will be the backup But yeah, we need more big guys in some ways. And maybe this is where we're like, damn, maybe we should have held on to Orlando Robinson or other people in the past. Olivier Sarr right now, I don't know if he'd help. I don't know. We'll have to see. But if Yak's not fully 100%, I wouldn't start him because he's going to hurt us right away. And we need to set the tone right away with a better level of defense. And in some ways, Yak is a defensive leader. And if he is hurt and he is a step slow, then he's ineffective at getting rebounds and sealing out the paint. You shouldn't be playing him. You shouldn't be playing him. You should let him rest and get his back right. Because in some ways, you're risking him in an ineffective place to get hurt more. And he's not even playing effective. So let the man rest. If his back is all fucked up, let him rest and get better and stop playing him right now because he's not playing well enough to be out there. He's really hurting us. And I love Yak. I'm a huge Pirtle fan, and I don't think it's anything other than he's hurt. And that's why he's not playing well. That's it right there. Shaq Lindsay saying Scotty on Victor might slow him down, but what about the other 4 players on the court? What do you mean? I mean, if Scotty wants to guard Victor Wembanyama, go ahead and try. Seriously, it's very, very difficult to guard. In some ways, man, I'd rather have Brandon try and guard him because Brandon's longer, right? He has a skinnier body, and in some ways, he can maybe mirror him better. Last year when we had Boucher was actually a good person to guard Wemby because it's the same kind of length and speed kind of combination. So if I was the Raptors, I might put Brandon Ingram on him tonight just because he has a longer, taller wingspan, and he might be able to kind of mess him up, and he can maybe run around with them too. So the matchup I would put on Brandon. You put Brandon on Vic. That's what you do right there. Yeah, Fiercely saying, of course, the refs were helping them. I knew the NBA YouTube channel would gloat about Flag's performance. He's got 4 clips posted. Who cares? None of that stuff matters, guys. Once again, it doesn't matter that Martin made the layup at the end. It doesn't matter that the YouTube clips are going to show mostly Mavs clips or highlight Cooper Flag. None of this shit matters. This is all fluff. It doesn't add to wins or losses. In some ways, we just need to worry about what matters when bread and butter, wins and losses. And that's defense, that's rebounding, and that's getting wins. I don't give a shit about the highlight reels. I don't give a shit about them shading us. I don't give a shit about the comments and sections. I don't give a shit that Caleb Martin made a layup at the end of the game. We just need to win. None of this shit, that other stuff, that stuff doesn't matter. Who cares that they put a Cooper Flag highlight reel together last night? In some ways, he had one. And that's just what it is. Shaq Lindsay saying IQ has his hands full even if he doesn't use them. Castle, Harper, and Fox are no joke. Fox is not playing, thank goodness. Harper is too new. I'm not going to put any weight into Dylan Harper until I see him play in the NBA. Just like Colin Roy Boyles, just like Cooper Flag, I got to see them play to analyze whether they're NBA level right away or not. And, well, Cooper's looking good. Colin's not. And Dylan Harper, I have no idea what he's going to look like in his first game against us. I will say Steph Castle is definitely a good player, but you know what? I don't think these guys are a problem for us in any extraordinary way other than Victor is a problem. Victor is the problem here. Those guards, they're good, but in some ways they're young too. And in some ways we have foils for them. I think Shed can guard Castle pretty good. It's not a bad matchup for him. So I'm not going to give them any credit at their guards yet. Nah, Castle's a good player, rookie of the year. But I'm not worried about them as much as Wemby. Wemby's the problem for sure. Wemby's a problem. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak James. Wemby has a good chance at MVP this year. Maybe. That all depends on whether the Spurs actually win a lot. If the Spurs are a top team and they're going to make playoff noise, then yeah. Otherwise, no. Because they're a team that lost a lot last year. And also, you got to remember this, James. They don't give MVPs to people on their first season that they play at an MVP level. They give it to them on the second year. They have to play at a certain level, gain the trust. SGA was like this. SGA didn't win no MVP on new seasons. He should have won them, but he had to prove that he's at that level. And then Jokic had to kind of not have a year, or all of a sudden, boom, SGA is the MVP. So no, don't hold your breath on this. Wemby won't be MVP this year. If he plays really well and plays like an MVP season, and then he plays another MVP season, he'll be MVP next year. But it really depends on the Spurs doing well and him establishing himself in the MVP picture. Because, you don't get an MVP out of the blue just coming in and getting it. You don't. You have to have a track record of a couple of years of very high level play. And Wemby didn't have that kind of track record come from last year. He was hurt half the year. And honestly, he has not looked like he has now at all in his entire career until these 3 games this season. So he's got to wait. You could say he could be a candidate, but I don't think he has a good chance because it's going to go to the guys who are more established. So be more likely like somebody like SGA again, or Jokic, or Giannis, or Luka. You know, those guys are probably have better chances because they've been playing at MVP level for more years in a row. And Wemby's just a new kid at that level. G saying this: Grady accidentally swiped Russell's Grady. They took a long time to review that. I know that was kind of pervy. I'm like, Pat Frere is like, oh, it looks like he hit him in the nuts. Let's go look at it, guys. And he's like, all right, go look at it. Okay, that was weird, man. Of course, it wasn't a flagrant. He didn't mean to do that on purpose. Once again, I'll say this: you think Grady's trying to hit people in the crotch? No, he's not, because that just opens a whole can of worms of all kinds of jokes, which we got. There's tons of people making those jokes, I'm sure, all over Raptors Reddit and other spots like that. All kinds of stuff like that. Here's Neil's here. He's got his check-in. G saying this: teams with good bigs will give them a hard time. Hawks were weak inside, and it was easier to defend. Yeah, I think if Porzingis was more of an inside player, we would have been exposed more in the Hawks game. For sure. For sure. I could see that. All right, it jumped ahead. Let me make sure I figure out where I'm at. Okay, it's there. Fiercey's got Yak on blast. Shaq Lindsay saying last night Scotty played defense in the paint. Problem is the perimeter defense, and it starts with IQ. Yeah, I don't know. I don't totally see that exactly that way. I don't know. The problem is we're not sealing anything down low. You know, Scotty played defense in the paint, but in some ways, is he effective at that? In some ways, this is part of the next level he has to get at as a defensive player, is he needs to have a reputation that he stops people. And, you know, he can be a help defender. He can get steals. He can get blocks. But he needs to show that he's actually a seal, that he can actually hold people with strength, pushing them out like Yak does. And he can actually like be effective at staying in between low post offensive players and stymieing them. Because what's happening is there's too much really right up next to the basket so far this season, and easy layups and dunks by the other side. And in some ways, we're getting in there and we're not totally making those executed ourselves because we're getting agitated by long arms like Anthony Davis. So, yeah, it's tough. We're going to have to see it tonight with Wemby because he's a shot blocking threat. And, you know, we in some ways, the game plan against Victor is go to the side of the court that he is not on and try and shoot from over there. And whenever he runs over the other side, throw it back over the other side and try and shoot from the other side where he isn't. Because wherever he is, you don't want to go at that area of the floor. You really don't. So in some ways, the Raptors have to be very cognizant about where they're funneling their offense and really trying to beat them, because that he's such a deterrent. And he'll trick some people. I mean, it's very likely one of the young Raptors is going to dare Wemby, and they're going to get blocked by him, and they didn't even think he could get to where they were. You know, welcome to the NBA, Colin Murray Boyles. Yeah, you thought you could shoot from there, but no, it's Wembanyama, and he's right there, and he blocked you. That's right. G saying Battle needs more minutes, 100%. He's a great floor spacer, and he hustles. Battle. You know, that with my argument about play the guys who are playing the hardest and doing things to contribute, yes. Jamison has been an effective player so far this year, and in some ways that is a reason to give him more time on the court and keep him out there. Yep. He's on my list right now for one of the few effective players on our team so far this year. And yeah, I totally agree with this. If he was kind of fringe rotation, he should be rotation for right now while he's still shooting well and he's hustling and playing fairly good defense and rebounding. So yeah, I completely agree with this, G. Jamison has been a bright spot. Neil's saying this: regardless of Jacob's health, Yak's health, he is not fast enough on the perimeter. That's not true. And he shouldn't be out on the perimeter anyway. Why the fuck is he out on the perimeter? They could play a zone defense. Seriously. So Darko needs to have a rotation that is 3 levels deep to cover the C position. I mean, it's kind of like that already. The three levels are Yak, Sandro, and Mobo. And Scotty's somewhere kind of hybrid in the middle there somewhere. I don't know. I don't totally understand that. Shaq Lindsay saying IQ releases his shot from his waist. This could be a problem, especially when teams pressure the perimeter. He doesn't. All right. He only shoots when he's open. How often do we see him get blocked? It's not like he's shooting from his waist. He just has a spot where he comes up like this and he shoots up high. He starts down there. Yeah. But part of it is he's not taking that shot unless he's open. And IQ's shots have been okay. He's actually been making a pretty good percentage more recently. He didn't start very well, but he's been shooting better in the last couple games. So I don't know. I know everybody wants to nitpick and pick at different people. And part of my job is to look at what y'all are saying. But I think that there's an over focus on Emmanuel right now that isn't totally fair. It isn't totally fair. And in some ways, we just need to figure out how to run our offense more efficiently. And we'll clean up the defensive stuff and it won't look as bad. It won't look as bad. Let's see. G saying this, when Scotty scores 30 or more, their record is around 4 wins and 9 losses. Obviously, this is not on Scott, but why do you think that is? Are the others slacking? Is there less ball movement? I think that in some ways, Scotty isn't the most efficient offensive player. Like often, if he's trying to get those kind of points, he may be forcing it and it's not coming naturally. Now, if it is coming naturally and he gets to 30, which was kind of what it seemed like last night, he's not taking away from the rest of the team. Another sign is that if Scotty's scoring 30, that means that everybody else is having trouble and we're having to lean on him too much. And that means we're not getting overall team production. And that's why we're losing in those games. It's a classic thing, like why I said, Milwaukee, you're in trouble if you're going to have to rely on Giannis to score so much for you all year. Because, that's always been the case in the history of the NBA. Teams that lean on one guy to carry them so much all the time is not a good thing. And this is part of this phenomenon probably with the record with Scotty when he scores 30 plus. So that's why I'm like, we don't want Scott to score a whole lot of points. I'd rather him use his energy for all-round play in a bunch of different areas to help us win. And in some ways, I think every single one of the Raptors right now needs to rededicate themselves to honoring the defensive things that we're supposed to be doing, that they all need to recalibrate and readjust and get back to the things that we're demanding of them. Seriously, they need to do that, They need to do that. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying, NBA Today will glorify Flag's performance day. So what? Let them do it. That's marketing. They're going to. It's not like I get upset about that. So what? Let Cooper Flag be the poster boy. Let them be a marketing part. None of it matters. None of it matters. I don't care about that. I care about the Raptors and whether they're going to win or not. All that circus and all the extra shit around it, none of that shit actually matters. It's just Cooper Flag is advertising. In some ways, they want people to come to games. And, they'll put them on blast because in some ways, that's what they want to do. We can't control this. Who cares if they do this? And in some ways, he's justified. He's bona fide. I'm not going to slag on this. Cooper Flag earned his highlight reel. Cooper Flag earned what he got last night. And we can't be bitter losers and say, oh, he shouldn't get all that. No, he deserves it. So I don't know why you guys keep bringing up Flag in his highlights. Who cares? He deserves them. The NBA is going to obviously put them on. Obviously, they got to. That's their advertising, right? G saying, I do want some of them to be more selfish, and I don't like that word, but whatever the word is, be more Mamba. Yeah. If Brandon Ingram's like that, let him be like that. Although we don't want it to be the detriment that other guys aren't getting to score and do things too. There's a balance to it. But there's also a balance between being too unselfish and not being aggressive enough to execute and make your shots. And this seems like this is part of the problem right now. Is that guys are passing up the best shot because they're like, oh, there's the extra pass, the next person. We've seen this in the years of Darko. And in some ways, it's not a bad thing. It's really good to be more unselfish. But at some point, they need to be saying, look, you're being too unselfish. You need to go up with that one, Colin, because you had your first dunk that you should have made, but instead you tried to dump it off to Jakob, maybe because you were scared, maybe because you weren't ready at that moment. But either way, you had a dunk on the side of the basket. but you didn't know what to do with it at that time, and you passed it to the next guy. You should have elevated and dunked it. Seriously. And that was where he should have been more selfish, to be honest. And we've seen this Scotty being too unselfish and passing up good shots for himself. I've seen Brandon do this in the last couple games too. And these guys just got to recognize where the highest percentage shot is when they get it and execute it. And in some ways, looking for that next pass is not the right move. Sure. In one of the plays early in the game, right away, we saw a pass around, and Jakob got an easy layup right at the start of the game. And that was fantastic. In some ways, that was smart. I like that because it was trying to get Jakob going at the beginning of the game. Alas, Jak is hurt. It's obvious he's hurt, and he can't be the regular Jak. He can't be the regular Jak. It's too bad, man. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying the problem with the offense is that Jak isn't moving, setting picks, and BI is not moving the ball. You can't let the defense settle in if your center is ineffective. You have to play at a faster pace. Yeah, it does seem like they're not moving around Jak well enough. One of the things I asked for from the last game to this game was let's make Jak the hub again and let him run the offense through him, like passing around. But even they did that a little bit at the beginning of the game, but they went away from it and they really didn't do it later. And you're right, Shaq Lindsay. There's been too much isolation. Brandon on one side, just let him work and try and get his shots that way. Sure, some ways that helps and it's effective because he does make shots. But it's also shades of what we were doing with Siakam, and it's not conducive to overall team synergy in play. And I get what you're saying like that. I mean, if we have to do that stuff with Ingram on isolation, that's the sign that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel with our offense. And we're bailing out ourselves with Brandon just playing like at the top of his talent in isolation. That's no good. That's not actually what Darko's offense is. It's like this is our lifeline, and we're using what we absolutely have to when we're at this point. And we don't want that. We don't want to do that. Let's go back to the box score, and let's go over the rest of the players. Jakob Poeltl, very tough, 19 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, missed both his free throws. 5 offensive rebounds for 8 rebounds. So he did rebound a bit better in this game. 4 assists, 1 steal, 5 fouls, a minus 15 with 4 points. Yeah, let's not kick Jakob while he's hurt, but understand he is definitely part of the problems we're having right now. So when he gets healthy, hopefully some of this shit will go away and he'll be better. Emmanuel Quickley is getting a lot of criticism so far this season. 32 minutes for Emmanuel, 5 of 16 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover, minus 15 with 14 points. I think Emmanuel is working through things, and he's going to get more consistent, and he'll be fine. It's just people need to allow him the ability to fail and succeed at the same time. In some ways, he's a high-usage player. He's somebody who's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and he's going to get a lot more attention and criticism from fans because he's not going to be absolutely perfect. But the things that he adds to our team and the things that he does are absolutely fantastic. The three-point shooting is going to be better and better as the year goes on. He's going to get connected more and more better with Brandon, and he will hopefully get to play more with Jak in those pick and rolls where they have really good synergy. So let's not get all down on Emmanuel. In some ways, he's fighting and he's playing hard. He's going to the basket aggressively. He's making some layups and getting fouled and getting the foul line a lot too. And that's something that we have to give him credit for. The threes will start going down better, trust me. And the criticism about him on defense, well, maybe you're right. But I would say every single person on that team needs to step up on their defense, not just Emmanuel. Yeah, Jamison Battle in 7 minutes, 1 of 2. He hit a 3. The Grady Dick did a block for him. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, just 3 points. Sure, I would have loved to seen Jamison more than just the last 7 minutes of the game last night. Colin Murray-Boyles, dreadful. 13 minutes, a minus 11, 0 points, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 2 offensive rebounds, and that's really it. He had 2 offensive rebounds and a turnover and a minus 11. And you know what? That's garbage, Colin. You had a dunk you should have taken. And in some ways, I don't agree with you being higher on the depth chart than Jonathan Mobo and other people if you're going to be out there like that. Nope. You go back to the end of the line if you're going to have games like this. I'm sure you'll play again tonight. And if you continue to be kind of garbage, I say go back to the end of the line and battle Walter, Mobo, Abaji, all these other guys should be getting your minutes. Seriously. Jonathan Mobo, 2 minutes right at the end, very active in that last unit, trying to make things happen too little too late. A +6, though, and one of the better plus minuses. 0 points, 1 steal, though. 1 steal. And yeah, that's it pretty much. A block, too. Baji, 22 minutes, 1 of 5, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 5 points. Baji is pretty solid on defense, though, still. You see him out there trying to do stuff, but it's just tough. The whole team needs to be dedicated to defense and playing as a team on defense. And we're not getting that synergy right now. And that's part of the problem right now. Jamal Shed, 16 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 8 assists with 1 turnover. That's not bad. 1 steal, 6 points, a +5. So he had winning minutes out there. But then again, it's like, yeah, I want you guys to step up. We need more scoring from the bench. Grady Dick, 13 minutes, 2 of 6, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 5 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 10 points for Grady. That's a start, but could have been better. The bench scoring needs to be more, guys. We need more support from the bench, guys. You guys need to come out there and score more because the other team is killing us off the bench. You had D'Angelo getting 24 points off the bench, and that's pretty close to the whole amount that we got off the bench. D'Angelo with 24, Max Christie with 17, and those guys outscored our bench, just those two guys. And yeah, Christie was a problem too. They were using Christie really well with the threes. And D'Angelo Russell, absolutely dynamic scorer, kicking our butt all over the place. And other than that, Klay Thompson, of course, being Klay Thompson, hitting some threes here and there. PJ Washington's always been a Raptors killer, and he gets up to play against us. And then, yeah, Cooper Flagg, 22 points, 8 of 14 shooting, fantastic. And AD, a double-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Just a solid effort by the Mavericks, who get their first win of the season. They're 1-2 just like us. So there you go. There you go. It's tough, man. It is tough. You got to play a faster pace, a better pace on defense. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, but you have to make shots too. Yeah, we got to make shots. In some ways, this is one of our problems, is that we just don't have a team of ballers that shoot the lights out. Like, it does seem like other teams have easier people that just shoot really well. And why do we struggle in not shooting sometimes? Grady, Jameson, sure, you guys are awesome. But there's the other guys on the team, they need to be better shooters. Scotty, RJ's done better this year. Emmanuel, you got to be a better shooter. Yeah, sure. In some ways, we need to be a better overall shooting team. And this has been an Achilles heel for our team a couple years now. Really, I mean, in some ways, it's been an Achilles heel for like 5 years. The Raptors have not been a good field goal shooting team, and that sucks. That's why we have to play hard and manufacture more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not Jakob. Let's just call him Yak. Fiercely saying, as Bobby said, play hard or play smart. That's right. They got to play hard and play smart. And in some ways, the play smart part isn't happening. In some ways, the play hard stuff didn't happen exactly right either. So, yeah, they need to play smart. They really do. They need to pick teams apart with mismatches and go to them. Scotty, you have mismatches. Brandon knows naturally how to beat mismatches from just his isolation play. He knows whether a guy's quicker or smaller or whatever it is, how to beat them. We beat them with length, beat them with the speed to here. Brandon's got lots of years of experience to know how to beat mismatches. Scotty, you need to be better with it. And you can figure out the mismatches that you can go beat. I don't know if trying to shoot over AD is the smartest way to beat a mismatch. I don't know. Maybe going around him, maybe. I don't know. Seymour's here. Good to see the sheriff, Seymour Pape. Mom told me if you ain't got nothing nice to say, hold your tongue. I ain't got nothing good to say. There you go. The sheriff is just going to hold his tongue. In some ways, that's the mature reaction to last night, is to go ahead and just let's hold judgment, and let's wait for more evidence, and let's allow the team to have more stretch of the games. This is just 3 games into 82-game season, and people are way too overreacting. Seymour, if you wanted to call me, though, you could, and we could do 4 quarters. But you may be at work and you may be busy, and I understand that. Maybe you have nothing you want to say because it might be, not nice. And he's just holding to that. But Mom said that. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this. I said it before. The center position could be a problem. Scotty and Mobo can't play opposing team centers. Sandro's good, but not for long runs. I agree with you. I've always liked to have more depth at center. I felt like we kind of had that this summer. Now Shamshay's gone. That sucks because in some ways Shamshay was going to help us with this department. He was already doing it for 905 to a certain extent. It sucks, man. I don't know. Bobby Webster has GMing work to do this year. And if things are not good for the first half of the season, we're going to see a major trade halfway through the season. We're going to see a major trade, and he may need to shore up this department. And what your concern is, Shaq Lindsay. Yeah, he may need to. G saying our issue for many years now has been a pipeline of defensive bigs. A trade for one is likely. Well, if it's going to be like this going forward, and Jakob's hurt on the down low, and we are absolutely ineffective around the basket with defense, yeah. And I would be welcoming to that. I would be welcoming to that. I don't know what that trade looks like. I don't know who on our team is involved going the other way. But in some ways, that may be something that has to happen. You're right. But let's not overreact and say it has to happen for sure right now. Let's let Jakob have a chance to get healthy and see more like what we would look like with him being healthy, So Blackhawks saying, I said yesterday, teams have to be deep at point guard and center positions. Yeah. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex and fellow freaks. Are we concerned by the defense? Yes. For sure, we're concerned by the defense, and these guys need to do better. But the great thing is defense is effort a lot of times, and just trying to get a little bit more organized to help each other on it too. So hopefully this can happen. Good morning to you, Kaloy. Good morning to Santino. Seymour saying, NBA knows it. Every team knows it. The Raps are weak at the 5. Jakob can't do it by himself. That's why they snatched Koloko and Ulrich. Man, I don't want to go conspiracy theory, but yeah, them shorting us centers in different ways has been bullshit. I felt like there was a period of time around the Tampa year where the NBA on purpose was holding centers away from us, and we were just scraping the bottom of the barrel with people like Len and Baines. I mean, it's tough. We have to be creative in how we find centers to come to our teams, because I don't get why we can't have more centers, Bobby. The Spurs, we're playing them today, and they've got Wembanyama, Cornette, Bismack, Olenek. They have like 4 guys that can kind of hold that position. Meanwhile, we have maybe 1, 2 guys, maybe, and then a half guy after that. And that's no good. You lose that one guy, that premium guy, and he's not totally playing effective. And we see the problem here, Bobby. In some ways, it could be a blessing in disguise that Jakob's ineffective at the beginning of the season, because it's pointing out a huge flaw in our team early that we could probably fix. And hopefully by the end of the season, we'd be in much better shape for it. So that's what I'm hoping, man. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. Seymour saying this team needs a full year together to gel. That's some of it too, is I feel like some of it is the gelling. I feel like in some ways it's just like these guys, I don't know. I just want them to play smarter and more with more purpose, like intent. They need to have more intent in what they're doing on the court. I feel like that's part of the problem right now. Roger Raymond, I see you there. Good. Thank you for supporting the channel, and good to see you. Raptors Champs is here once again. Let's see what Raptors Champs is saying today. Let's see. Jason Kidd called timeout every time he sniffed a run by Darko. Waits too long to call timeout. If you watch the game, Darko only calls timeout once the Mavs tie up the game, which is too late. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that totally last night. I mean, there were effective timeouts by Jason Kidd. I will say that. But once again, these are little things. In some ways, these are things that can be fixed. And that's what a lot of the experts were saying after the game. As bad as the game was last night, there's definitely things that can be fixed. But there, once again, I don't want to overreact to just one bad loss last night. Seriously. Let's see what happens tonight. Maybe we can hang with the Spurs. Even if we lose, we could feel good about things in a loss if we play at a certain kind of level and we really give them a good fight. If we win, that'll change things completely, right? If we're like beating the Spurs tonight and we absolutely run the floor, maybe Scotty and them are pissed because they feel embarrassed about the game last night in Milwaukee. And they come out with a totally different energy. And, we did do last year on the second night of back-to-backs better in the second game for some weird-ass reason. The Raptors played better. And the other thing is the Spurs are playing a back-to-back too. They're playing a second night of a back-to-back also. So, this could be, the Raptors had a better record on second night of back-to-back last season for some mysterious reason. I have no idea why. So who knows? Maybe they're pissed. Maybe they don't like the way that game went last night, and they have way better energy coming out, and they're executing way better. And all of a sudden, we see a team that's more like the game against the Hawks out on the court. You know what I'm saying? That is possible. We have a very talented team. And if we beat the Spurs tonight, I hope the reaction to that game is equal, but maybe not going overboard so much. Seriously. Okay, we won this one. Great. You know, do you feel better, Raptors Nation? That'd be great if that could happen tonight. We'll see if it can. It's possible. It is possible. For sure. It is possible. Seymour saying putting Ingram on Wemby might take away from the offensive drives. Going to be a tough one tonight if Go Raps go. Well, this is the thing. I don't care if anybody's offense is sacrificed on the Raptors. In some ways, right now, we need to get back to the basics, and that's defense first. So everybody, if you have an assignment, I don't care how tough it is. I don't care if it takes away from your shots or your energy on offense. We need to shore up the defensive stuff first. We have a talented offensive team, and there's going to be somebody who's going to be able to get going offensively on the other end, whether it's IQ, RJ, Brandon, Scotty, or one of the bench guys, whatever. There are abilities on our team, and in some ways cover up the first stuff that's important, the defensive end, because that's where we're getting fucked up, is you don't win games by overpowering on offense. You need to have some sort of stopping ability at the other end. So let's get that right first, and then the offense will come either from the defense in transition or from one of the players on our team that's very talented and a high-level player that isn't having to carry as much on the defensive end in some ways, and they do have that energy. I am not worried about Brandon losing some of his offensive energy to guard Wembanyama if he can do it effectively. But he may not be able to do it effectively, and they may need him to go guard somebody like Devin Vassell instead. Either way, we need to make defense first again, Raptors. And the offensive stuff will either come from our transition defense, or we get the overpowering isolation play of Brandon, or RJ bullying his way to the basket, or Scotty playing bully ball and stuff like that. We can find the offense in all kinds of different places. And it doesn't have to be in specific people, you know? So if Darko thinks, yeah, Wembanyama, Brandon, you want to try and guard him tonight? You know, maybe Scotty's going to have to try and guard him because he wants that, but Scotty's offense is more sacrificed because he's putting so much energy into trying to stop Victor. I mean, we're going to have to put this energy into that to be successful against them either way. So let's have a game plan. The other problem is right now, Darko, I feel like you and the coaches are not instituting the game plans for your players to follow well enough. They're too creative and all over the place, and they're not disciplined in what they're doing. And we're not seeing them actually kind of like doing things correctly. In some ways, they're not playing good fundamental basketball on offense or on defense. And we need to get back to the basics. And I want to see that you've got kind of more of a grasp on what they're doing out there by directing them a little bit better, because they seem like they're a little bit too loose and all over the place and not necessarily following the protocols that you want as a coach. And if people aren't doing that, you need to put them on the bench and get somebody else from the bench out there is what I'm saying right now. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour's saying this: stateside media pumps up everything like a hot air balloon, nothing but hot air Remax. Yeah. In some ways, who cares, man? We got to just worry about what we're doing. And I'm not worried about any of the other teams. It's just every night we go on the court, we got to try and win. And if we win, that's great. If we don't, we got to dissect it and figure out what went wrong and do better next time. It's not crumple it up and throw it in the garbage, Raptors fans. Everybody's acting like that about the team already. You're idiots. We're still going to make the playoffs. We're still going to be badasses. This is a long season, and this is just the stumbling blocks out of the blocks to start. We had a good first game. We've had a bad 2 games in a row now, but we're going to have good games again, and we're going to go above and beyond. We're going to beat teams that we shouldn't beat, and we're going to lose to teams that we should beat too. That's the NBA. That's the way it goes. It's how it is. So we'll just see. We got to keep going. This is way too early for anybody to make final judgments on the Raptors season. It's way too early. You're crazy if you are. Let's see right here. Wayne is here. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Personally, I don't enjoy the losses, but I appreciate them. This narrative about I want to see Colin Murray Boyles, it happened. Are you happy now? Our aggression was soft, easily blocked, freaks. I like Wayne's attitude here. He's saying, look, I don't like watching the losses, but they are helpful. They are useful for getting better. That's what this is. It's progress, and not necessarily perfection. You can get better and better from losing in some ways than winning, because you have more, you were lit under your fire to get better because you're losing too much. In some ways, you know, in some ways we need to see the ugly side of some of these things so we can get this stuff corrected. And don't get it twisted. This is not our normal defense for the whole year. Trust me, it's nowhere near what it looks like. Wayne, salute to you. And thank you for being the sergeant at arms. And thank you for being a voice of reason. Seriously. Kaloy saying, gotta trust the boys. That's all we can fucking do. That's right. That's right. Dropping the F-bomb in there. No cursing Mondays, comma crazy. Tyrone Shoelace, 9832 is here. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I read every comment, and we're here every morning at 9:30 talking Raptors every single day. We'll do the reaction to the Spurs game tomorrow. After the game, we'll talk about it, just like we're reacting to the Mavs game and setting us up for the Spurs game tonight. Tyrone saying, remember when Yaka was a Spur? Yeah. Yeah, I like the Spurs too. This is the thing. Tonight, these are my two favorite teams in the NBA playing. My favorite team, obviously, is the Raptors. I love the Raptors so much. But my team in the Western Conference is the Spurs. And that's why I love Wemby. Wemby is not somebody that I hate. I'm like excited about him because I love the Spurs to be successful. They're a franchise I've rooted for 30 years. A long, long time I've loved the Spurs. I've actually rooted for them for 35 years, actually, which is longer than I've rooted for the Raptors. Actually, it's 40 years I think I've rooted for the Spurs now, since like almost 85. Yeah. So I've been a Spurs fan longer than I've been a Raptors fan, just because the Raptors didn't exist. I was a fan of David Robinson, Terry Cummings, Vernon Maxwell, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, Vinny Del Negro. There's a lot of historic Chuck Person, Dennis Rodman when he was on the Spurs. I go way back with the Spurs, and I love that team so much. So in some ways, this is always a game for me where I don't lose because I'm like, okay, the Spurs won. I love the Spurs. Okay, the Raptors won. I love the Raptors. So I'm not as upset about this game tonight or worried about it as some fans are because I'm a big, huge Spurs fan. And I can enjoy their victory in this even if the Raptors lose. So I love the Spurs. And I love that Jakob went to learn from Popovich for those years. It was awesome, Tyrone. It was awesome. Stargate saying this, good morning, Raptor Freak family. It was a collectively bad effort in the loss last night. Yeah. Yeah, from the last player on the bench right up to Darko, it was just a bad effort all around. Sometimes you just kind of stinkers. You just are. And then and I think that it is true that the Dallas team was really frustrated after losing to the Washington Wizards and the Spurs in their first game, that they needed something to give. They're in a 5-game homestand to start their season. And, well, they don't want to have a losing record in those 5 games, right? Well, if they'd lost to us last night, they would have. So there was a little bit of put up or shut up. And now they got to play OKC tonight. Seriously, they're playing again tonight against the champs, the Thunder. Come in and play them at home tonight, Dallas. And I want to see old SGA whoop them, kick their ass pretty bad. And then they play the Pacers at home for the next game. So their record in these 5 home games to start, we may be the only win they get out of these 5 games to start. And the Mavericks will be 1-4 to start the season. Yeah. Yeah. It's looking like that could be very possible tonight. That's right. That's right. Stargate saying, yes, Yak has to be injured. Where's the floater? I know there's a lot of stuff. He's not moving right out there. He's moving a step slow, and he's just not. I think that the mask is hurting him too. That mask is like messing with his vision to a degree, I think. Because I don't know. Either way, we just need Yak to get back to being 100%. And, whatever's going on with him, just get him right. Because we need him as right as possible. We really do. Stargate saying, I kind of agree with Shaq. Point of attack defense is still an issue. It's better when Jamal is in there. And when we had Davion, love IQ. But let's be honest, he's not a good point of attack defender. Well, everybody's got their pluses and minuses. And IQ has certain pluses on offense. And maybe some of the defensive stuff isn't totally a plus yet. Give him some chance, though, because he has made a new dedication to being a better defender. So give him some chance. In some ways, it's not going to be overnight or consistent right away. He has to try and keep working on it. And maybe that side of the ball will get better and better. Right now, it seems like he's having to balance playing as a point guard and also as a shooting guard at the same time with what he's doing in the game. And the defensive guard stuff isn't as easy. I'm really big on trying Chucky out. Seriously, Darko, get Chucky out there. And let's just see how he translates to the NBA game. I really want to see Chucky. I really do. In some ways, I want to see Chucky way more than Colin right now. Because I feel like Hepburn can help us a lot with this issue you guys are talking about right now. Wayne's saying, I noticed BI has a little isolation feature in his game. If it works, okay, but swinging the ball out from his double and triple teams, I know Darko will fix. The team will figure out all these issues. Yeah, fissures. Yeah, I agree with this. I feel like in some ways they're learning as they go. They're figuring out where the problems are, and they're also learning out where the possibilities are. I don't like this part of the season in some ways because it is really a learning and experimental part. You know, at the end of the year, you should have your shit figured out more and really kind of been figured out and doing things and playing at a high level. And that's usually the case. But right now, it's an experimentation part of the year. And we need to kind of sort out kind of how things are going to go more and more as the year goes on and fix things. This is a time to fix things. We obviously need to fix our defense. We obviously do. Neil's saying this, pair up IQ with Oshai, and when they sit, pair up Shed with RJ. Balance out the offense and defense. Go all defense out of bounds plays. Focus on offense. Hang on, it jumped ahead. Let me see. Pair up IQ with Oshai, and when they sit, pair up Shed with RJ. Balance out the offense and defense. Go all defense during out of bounds plays. Focus on getting stops. I mean, look, if things aren't getting figured out and we're like a month in, I'm willing to make different changes to the starting lineup and do different things to try and think whatever we need to do to try and make things work better. Sure, there has been some talk about, you know, maybe we need more defense in the starters and more offense off the bench. Yeah, maybe this is something we need to look at. And the switch isn't Grady into the starting lineup. It would be Oshai. And I think you're exactly right. And unfortunately, it would probably be RJ who goes to the bench, even though I'm not big on putting RJ off the bench, but that could actually really help things. It could actually help things. We do have to think outside the box. But I would say I'm not ready to make this switch yet because there's not enough evidence still. And in some ways, it's not the time yet. But if we're a month in and it seems like this is evident, then I may bring this up again. And I think that Neil might be right, but we'll hopefully not right. We can figure this out without having to do this. Mischief saying this. Good to see the base man. Raptors need to contend on shots better. 139 points against Dallas is not good. Yeah. I mean, I get it. In some ways, like, you know, the defense just has to be better. So we need to try and stop shots better. Yeah, I get it. Value the ball and play through contact. Okay. Wayne's saying our 2 losses would not have been helped by having a non-NBA player like Shamshay. Pipe dream again. We gave up a lot of baskets by being soft, score half of them, and it's a different game. The only reason why I say Ulrich, I bring him up, is because as a project, his promise down the road and what he was showing on 905 is a real defensive seal. Like, he's a very plus defensive player who makes a huge impact. You know, Koloko was the same way, and that's part of the reason why I think it's so fishy these guys have been taken from us. Is because they can have strong defensive impacts to help the Raptors. And Shamshay was showing all the promise to do that. I agree, Wayne, that he wasn't going to help us right now, but in like the next year or so, he could have very much graduated to the Raptors main squad and even by the end of this season, and could have been a huge help with the defensive problems that we're having right now. Because he showed that kind of ability at the 905 level last year. And once he was gone, 905 had no defense at all. So that's the thing. You want these kind of players that hold gravity and kind of hold presence on defense. And Shamshay is like that. Even if he's raw as an offensive player, he's a very good defender. And that's why I'm so pissed that his status of what it's become right now. Like, this play to fitness panel is so shady. And yeah, does seem like the Raptors are getting people taken away from them that would help them in the center position, even if they don't help them immediately right now. Milbester's here. Let's see what Milbester's saying. We'll give him a chance. Lex, about yesterday, don't worry about it. I just blew up. You know, I'm a lifelong born again Christian. It was from the MSNBC interview Hillary said on Christian men after Charlie Kirk's death. It was from 3 weeks ago. I don't even know what you're talking about. I appreciate your Christianity and your religion, and I want to respect it. Yesterday I was trolling you when I did the birthday list, and you know what? It did really piss me off that you did say that about Hillary Clinton. In some ways, she doesn't deserve that. There's a lot of like mudslinging at her from one side that's totally unfair, and they make her a butt of a joke. Honestly, the United States is sad because it was not ready for a female president. It's so sad. It's such a misogynist country in some ways. It's obvious that some people could not bring themselves to vote for either Hillary or Kamala just because of their gender. And that's just pathetic, honestly. It's like a chauvinist society. So I get really mad when people come after Hillary because what did she do? She hasn't been in power. She hasn't done anything. In fact, she's been watching the whole country burn down. And it's sad to her. In some ways, she could probably feel like Harris and say, you know what? It would have been totally different if I was president. And none of this bullshit that's happened with this idiot Trump would have happened. It's just, you don't need to disrespect her. You don't need to use dumbass language of fucking racists, misogynists, and piece of shit like Charlie Kirk, who is a piece of shit. Even if you think he's a good Christian, that you bought that bullshit, he's a racist and a hateful person. In fact, he said Martin Luther King was an idiot and a clown, and he hates him. Charlie Kirk is not a hero. The other side saying he's a hero and he's all this stuff, they're lying. He's a white supremacist. He was anti-women. He's anti-black people. He's anti-Hispanic. And he's not a hero in the least. He's an absolute piece of shit. And in fact, he was a fake the whole time. He argued with college students and he went around in circles. He was a performance show. He was not a good person. He encouraged more hate in this world. He encouraged more people to hate black people. And as a person of color, Milbester, if you think Charlie Kirk is a hero or a good person, you are mistaken. And once again, you're being duped. Seriously, that man was not Christian in the least. He is only Christian in profession, by professing it. He was not a Christian, not a good Christian. I'm more a better Christian than him. And I've barely gone to church in my life because I'm not out there trying to hurt people. I'm not out there trying to spread hate. I'm not trying to indoctrinate young males to be hateful racists, which is what Charlie Kirk did. And if you think he was anything other than that, if you're buying the bullshit that the media says that he is, you're wrong. He is not. He was a piece of shit. And in some ways, the way he died is ironic and funny because he was the one who said, well, there's going to just have to be people that die by guns because we need to have the Second Amendment in this. Well, it's poetic in some ways. And it's also poetic that a MAGA person, a right-wing person, shot him. That's right-wing crime on right-wing crime. So, I mean, look, if Hillary said anything about Charlie Kirk, you know what? It's probably fair. And anybody who's calling her Killary, that's messed up. That's not the right thing to do, Milbester. Seriously. She was the first lady of the United States. She did a lot of good things when she was in office. People have a lot of messed up ideas about the Clintons because the other side puts out all kinds of crazy shit about them. It's honestly, most of it's absolute horse crap. And, Hillary lost the presidency because of emails from Russia. Meanwhile, Trump is basically the puppet marionette of Russia. And nobody seems to care about that. Trump has like 100 times, million times more controversies than the Clintons. He's breaking way more laws and he's a criminal. And honestly, I think that anybody's dissing Kamala or Hillary after all this is like, why? They have not been in power. They've not done anything. And it's like stupid to come after them. So I would say that. Either way, if you're standing up for Charlie Kirk by saying that, well, you're just feeding into the hate that lived in the life of Charlie Kirk because he was not a person of love or Jesus. Don't get fooled. He was a hateful person that fear-mongered and spread hate and lies towards minorities in the United States. He was actively hurting people like you, Milbester, Charlie Kirk. And you're going to act like he was a hero and a martyr because they use the cross and say, oh, he's a Christian. He's a good Christian. Oh, you have to like him because he's a Christian. Don't believe in that. He's a false prophet and he was a full of hate person. He was Antichrist. Seriously. And if I get put on some list because I talk shit about Charlie Kirk right now, well, that's Nazism and Gestapo kind of bullshit. People are coming after people. Oh, you have to like Charlie Kirk. You have to be this and all that. Bullshit. That motherfucker was a piece of crap. And he got what he got. He deserved it in some ways. He did. He deserved it. He wanted this to happen to himself. That was his politics. I don't believe in that kind of stuff for guns. No, I think there should be gun laws. I think they should have stricter gun laws. And if I had my way, maybe Charlie Kirk would still be alive. But Charlie Kirk had it his way, and he's dead. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is, Milbester. And if I pissed you off because I dissed Charlie Kirk, well, I don't know why you like Charlie Kirk so much, because he hated you. I'll tell you that right now. Charlie Kirk hated your ass, Milbester, and he didn't even know you. The only reason why he hated you is probably because you're a minority. And that's it right there. I'll tell you right there. He hated you blindly without even knowing you, Milbester. Charlie Kirk hated all black people, hated all Hispanic people. He hates women too. He thinks women are below everybody. So yeah, I don't know why they celebrate him. He's a piece of shit. Stargate saying this: make a play at the basket to score the basketball and not to draw fouls. Yeah, I mean, Emmanuel was drawing fouls pretty good. I mean, you see Brandon will get fouled and an and one. RJ's getting and ones. I like that. RJ was getting some and ones. He'll make the basket and he'll get the extra point. That stuff is good. I like that stuff. That's good. Yeah, Wayne's saying basketball, Milbester. Basketball. Forget yesterday. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Kareem saying this: I didn't agree that Colin was the first one off the bench. I didn't agree with that either. But they wanted to get him his debut and bring him out. And yeah, he didn't deserve that. In some ways, he wasn't ready, obviously. We should work him into the rotation. It threw off the players. And what was up with Dick and Battle on the same time and barely put up shots? Well, that was at the end. It was a hurry up. They do Battle Dick formation at the end of the game with that really aggressive defense with Shed and Mobo trapping. And they're hoping that they can close the double-digit gap a little bit better by having two 3-point shooters out there. And they did for a second. We had a 3 from Battle and Dick right in a row at the end there, and it was kind of like too little too late, but they were a little bit trying to climb back. I mean, I get why they did that strategy to do that. But I think you're right, Kareem. I think you hit the nail on the head that Colin Murray Boyles coming in at that point in the rotation kind of screwed up our game and was ineffective, and kind of a lot of things went to shit after that. See, Colin, look, if you're going to be bad on offense, which is likely to start, you damn for sure better be perfect on defense and showing that you're doing things on the defensive end the correct way. Because right now you were completely useless last night, and that was a waste of an NBA debut. It honestly was. You wasted your NBA debut. You didn't look good at all. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Good morning, Raptors. Hang on. I want to make sure I get this. Good morning, Raptors, beloved Raptors freak family. Do you really know who you are? The heart of a man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? You never truly know until you're pushed to the limits. Wow. Yeah, when you get tested in certain positions, maybe it's an uncomfortable position. Maybe it's something where a change of events in your life make you have to face something that's really crazy. These are the things that will test who we really are, for sure. And, hopefully you'll make the right decisions and be the right person in those moments of crisis. That's what I would say. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. Yeah, who do you know who you really are when the shit hits the fan? That's it right there. Shaq Lindsay saying, I agree with Wayne. Indiana struggled at the start of the year last year, especially on defense. It took at least a half the season for them to figure it out. We'll be all right, I hope. Yeah, I think this is the right attitude, guys. Seriously, because I thought Indiana was one of the worst defensive teams last year, and you see where they got to by the end of the year. So, yeah, this every year is a work in progress, and we're right at the beginning of the year. And not only that, we have one of our main players, a go-to player, is brand new, Brandon. And that is somebody that we have to kind of integrate and get more used to in different ways. And there may be weird wrinkles that wave out from Brandon being so involved now, where we see differences, whether it's Jakob this or Scotty that, RJ this, or the bench this. This is something we have to figure out, and the wrinkles from, because it's a different look having Brandon out there with us at this point. And I think that that's been part of the issues, is that it's not Brandon's bad for us. It's not that it's a wrong move. It's just that we have to adjust and get used to it. And there's a certain orientation period of that right now. We got to remember, Brandon Ingram did not play for us until recently. And this is very, very new, a lot of this. And it is a work in progress. And this is something over the season we need to find out. And as Shaq Lindsay said, he hopes we figure it out. I'm with him on that. I think we will. I think that we've got enough talent, knowledge, and selfless players on our team, and our coaches will figure it out with them. And we'll get it all. We'll get it better. We'll get better and better. We have to improve, right? 1% better every day. That's what they say. Kareem saying this: I like Colin, but right now I'm going to need Mobo in there. Yeah, he creates good pick and rolls. He can continue. He can contribute offensively. He's progressed since last year. Let's see his growth. Yeah, I agree with this. I think that Mobo's a very steady player right now, and he gives you a certain level of activity, rebounding, and defense that is very useful. And in some ways, I agree with this. Much like we were saying, maybe Mobo and Battle will be on the outs looking in at the rotation. Well, right now, they seem like they're more consistent level players that we may need to have them in the rotation right now because other guys are a little bit more flaky. And I agree with this. I would put Mobo in front of Colin right now because in some ways, that's how you light a fire under Colin's ass to get better faster and play and take this more seriously. In some ways, Colin, I'm getting energy from you. You're not taking things as serious as you should. Seriously, you're a little too smiley and a little bit, yeah. Don't have Jamal Murray energy around this team. Take this shit seriously and act like you care. That's part of it too. You need to act like you fucking care, Colin Murray Boyles. I need to see you get after it on the court, lay it all out there like you really fucking care. Because in some ways, it seems like you're too lackadaisical with your attitude and the way you're carrying yourself. And just like, yeah, I'm in the NBA. It's great. I have a beautiful girlfriend. My life is so good. No, fucking get fucking into your game and fucking give a shit and get out there and fucking bust some asses. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying right now. UC's here. Good to see UC. Would love to beat the brakes off the Mavs, but I'm also not surprised that we lost. It's tough. It's tough. I would have loved to win last night too, but it's a tall order. Literally, Anthony Davis. We're having problems with really top-notch players that have that kind of body, and that's Giannis and AD. The last two games. Well, how are we going to do against Victor? I hope Darko has a better game plan tonight. Darko, don't make me lose faith in you as a coach because you are not coming with direction for your team. We need direction. We need you to direct them on a nightly basis on what is needed to get the W. And if you don't have direction that gets them to W's, then we may have a problem. I don't want to throw my coach under the bus, but some people are already saying shit like they want to fire Darko already. And I hate that shit. It's way too early. It's way too early. Kareem saying, I don't care about the loss. It's still early, but 140 points is unacceptable. Yeah, they shouldn't be. The defense should be way, way better, especially since we saw such amazing defense in preseason and in the summer league. And we know we have a very capable defensive team that is just not putting that energy out like there. Maybe it wasn't sustainable. Is they're asking him, is this defense a sustainable thing for the whole season? Michael Grange asking that. Well, right now it doesn't look like it because they didn't even showed up yet in some ways. Neil saying this, my recommendation was for balancing the rotation. Darko can keep the starters the way it is, but start the rotation early. Okay, so you're saying keep them starting this way, but bring in those defensive subs early and then get a nice flip where there's a real good balance of offense and defense at all times after that. You know, we can identify who are the more defensive-minded players and the more offensive-minded players. It's real easy. Grady offense, Oshai defense. If you can get these guys in a rotation off of each other in different ways with the balance of it, you know, if Shed is going to be out there, maybe you can get away with Grady, like you said. And if Emmanuel's out there, you need Oshai. I get what you're saying, Neil. It makes sense. It makes sense. Raptors champ saying Yak was patient with the team and he publicly expressed it. I also agree. We need Chucky out there. He's smart in defense and offense. Plus he's old school shooting the three for spacing. Yeah. I think that he played so solid and fundamental in summer league and preseason that Chucky has a lot of promise and that we may need to start getting him integrated into our rotation because it'll be just helpful. I know that in some ways they may be sending him to 905 to be on that team with Andrew Jones more. He isn't undrafted, and that is the path that he probably should be on to an extent. But it may very well be the Raptors need Chucky Hepburn more than the 905 need him right now, and this is similar to what happened with Shed last year. Similar like that. Yeah. I mean, I really do want to see Chucky out there too, Raptors champs. I really do. Wayne saying 5 home games for Dallas, very favorable. Yeah, I don't see our team in crisis mode. We don't know, but Darko must see a lot of missed assignments. I agree with Shamshay's potential. I hope he's back to us. There is that possibility that Ulrich is going to be a Raptor again. So don't close that door completely, Raptors fans. We have to see what happens when he gets cleared. And, well, we'll just have to see if some convoluted shit happens or we do get a chance to retain him in coming back. That's really, really good. Yeah, it's fishy to me that they gave Dallas 5 home games to start the season. In some ways, they want to ensure some success for Cooper Flag and the Mavs. And also maybe this is part of the package for making up for stealing Luka and putting him on the Lakers last year. Well, we give you the first round pick, and for your start of your season, you get 5 home games right to start the season. It is fishy shit. There's a lot of weird fishy shit around the Mavericks team right now. There really is, man. There really, really is. Kareem saying Charlie Kirk would be alive if they chose a different president. Maybe, yeah, I would say that. Like if Kamala was president, Charlie Kirk may not have been killed. That I don't know. There's all kinds of possibilities and different things that happen in different ways. Once again, it's messed up that side tried to pin it on people like me for that murder. We're not gun people. We don't have guns. We're not doing the crimes that right-wingers do, the crazy shit. Timothy McVeigh was a right-winger. A lot of these crazy crimes that happen with domestic terrorism are right-wing people that support Trump. And even the viral clip that's out right now, the guy dressed up like Trump in a big inflatable suit with a Trump flag getting beat up by a guy, that's Trump on Trump crime right there. Literally, the guy who beat up the guy in the Trump costume was a Trump follower. So it's like, this is something we could call it, Trump on Trump crime. And that's what Charlie Kirk was. Although they tried to misinform everybody and said it was a trans person or was this or that. No, that guy that shot Charlie Kirk, it's actually crazy. He was more right-wing and he thought Charlie Kirk was too left-wing. That's why he shot him. Seriously, he shot Charlie Kirk because he thought he was too left. He was so right-wing. It's like, yeah. And this, the other people in the right-wing world were goading it on. The person that he follows, this guy named Sanchez or something like that, was telling people to kill Charlie Kirk. And one of his followers did. Yeah, there's a lot of irresponsible shit out there right now. There's a lot of irresponsible shit out there. Shaq Lindsay saying RJ plays better with BI. So, no, I wouldn't play RJ off the bench. I'm just saying that's the thing that people say. And naturally, that's kind of the first idea you have when you're saying one of the starters has to come off the bench. RJ's probably the first person you look at as far as that. And, I mean, I don't want that for RJ. I definitely want him to start. But if we have to do weird shit this season to make it work, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. And we'll do that. But I you know what? I like that Neil has corrected himself or qualified himself saying, no, I don't mean I want to take RJ out of the starting lineup. It just means I want to start the rotations earlier and within mind the balance of offense and defensive players. I think that's smart. I think it is. You would take IQ out of the starting lineup. You put him off the bench. I don't know. In some ways, we're pulling this apart in ways that we probably don't need to right this second. This is, once again, very early in the season, and we've got a lot to do still. Kareem saying, you can't be a Christian if you think Charlie Kirk was a hero. That's pretty fucked up. Yeah, I think that it's not, I'm not going to say that. You can be a Christian and think that Charlie Kirk was a hero, but you're a misguided Christian. Because in some ways, people have to understand who he really was. They're acting like he was a saint. They're acting like he was a hero. They're acting like he's Martin Luther King. He's not Martin Luther King. He is absolutely the opposite. In fact, his comments on Martin Luther King would tell you all you need to know about who Charlie Kirk was. Go look up his comments on Martin Luther King. Go look up his comments on black people. Go look up his comments on women and understand who he truly was and what he was influencing young men in this world, young white men in the United States to think. He was inciting more hate and more division than bringing people together. So everybody thinks, oh, he's a uniter. No, he's not. He's a divider and he's a hate monger. And in some ways, he's a young Nazi. That's really what he was, is a young Nazi. Seriously, man. Seriously. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying the KKK claim that they're Christians too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. White fundamentalist Christians can be racist and absolute piece of shit and absolutely not Christ-like. Anybody can claim they're Christian. These televangelists are on TV robbing people blind, taking their seed money. Those are not real good Christians if they're stealing money from poor people to enrich themselves to get more mansions. I mean, seriously, you can say everything you want. And like in some ways, some people are more Christian that don't even profess it. Like, shit, I'm not going around my life saying I'm a Christian, but I may act more Christian in my everyday life than most Christians do because they're absolutely deplorable and they're doing things that are not like Jesus would want. Seriously, I don't have to go to church and follow him directly and still be more like Jesus because I'm actually trying to be a good person and do good things and help people. That's what Jesus was. It's not trying to divide or hate people like some people use him for. No, that's not the right one right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying if Charlie's a Christian, then I guess he didn't read Exodus in the Bible God freed the Jews from persecution. Why is Charlie against the oppressed? Yeah, I don't know. In some ways, he's part of the machine that wants to have a class system and have a, the way it's developed in the United States is ugly and gross, man. Seriously, it really is. Slavery went away, but in some ways, it's just under another guise, and it's called wage slavery. And it's like, yeah, it's illegal to have slavery, but in some ways, the way they set up the system down there, it is like slavery because there's no upward mobility, there's no chance in certain ways, and you may be stuck and just living a certain life a certain way. Let's see. Wasn't Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk best friends? Yeah, that doesn't matter if they were best friends, even if she's a black woman. No, come on now. She's a token. That they use her in all kinds of ways to hurt black people, and that she's just an example of a turncoat. Honestly, she's awful. She's absolutely awful. And she's a good example of somebody that kind of like is stabbing her own people in the back. Seriously. And, I hate this. They use one black guy or one black woman and they say, oh, see, we're not racist. We have Candace Owens. Bullshit. Don't use that crap. That's like somebody who's a racist says, I can't be racist. I have one best friend that's black. And he's the only guy I ever talked to that's black. I can't be racist. I have a black friend. People that are racist that have a black friend. Come on now. Let's not play stupid here. G saying, on another note, pray for Jamaica. Is there something bad going on in Jamaica as far as a storm or something? I don't like that. Just a question. That's all. Yeah, but Candace Owens is not a normal African-American woman. We know this. She's in some ways just as bad as Charlie Kirk. She incites hate in some ways, just like the other side. Seriously, just like the people like her that are white. She does the same shit. She has the same message. Jeff in the zone 860. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you, man. Here every morning, doing a Raptor Freak stream, 9:30 every day, talking Raptors stuff every single day. Good to see you, Jeff. Cream saying, I'm throwing up an alley-oop to Jeff because he's in the zone. Good one. All right, Jeff in the zone gets an alley-oop from Kareem. All right, we'll do that. This is what we do on this channel. We have dunks for good comments and questions. Well, Jeff in the zone's getting a dunk from Kareem, and he just came in. This is quite the debut right here. Jeff in the zone, you're going on our spreadsheet, and you have 3 points for a dunk. It's an alley-oop from the dunk champion, Kareem Thomas. He's the top dunker on this channel. That's right. Kareem saying Candace Owens is Uncle Ruckus, or the female version of Uncle Tom. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. From the Boondocks, that uncle character who very much hates black people, and that whole show. I mean, he's a good example of a character that can teach people that, like, yeah, there's people like Uncle Ruckus out there. And Candace Owens is a good example. Exactly, Kareem. You got that exactly right there. Yeah, that's a good show, the Boondocks. Yeah, that's a good show. All right, let me see. Here, we'll go to the straight goods on Canadian goods. Guys, Rocky Mountain Soap Company is a company out of Alberta. They're in Canmore. They're 100% Canadian owned with a strong commitment to local naturally made products. And, well, they have stuff like deodorant, shampoo, sunscreen, shaving cream, lip balm, bar soap, liquid hand soap, facial moisturizer, moisturizing lotion, bubble bath, BBCC and multi-defense cream, body wash. Yeah, Rocky Mountain Soap Company has all kinds of great soap products, and they are 100% Canadian out of Alberta. So if you're looking for some soap or moisturizer or deodorant, lip balm, they got it all. So look for that label, Rocky Mountain Soap Company. 100% Canadian and committed to natural, locally made products. That's right. Your straight goods on Canadian goods. Boom goes the dynamite. All right, let's keep going in the tabs. Next, I've got, let's do the team stats for the game last night real quick. Let's analyze what happened with the Raptors and the Mavs. The Raptors did not shoot well. And the other thing that's really dismal and problematic for the Raptors right now is the field goal percentage of the other team is really high. In fact, the Mavericks shot 59% last night. And of course, a lot of that is really easy up close to the baskets kind of stuff. The Bucks shot very well on Friday night with Giannis too. So this is not a trend we want. The field goal percentage of the team we're playing is something we got to fix, Darko, and the coaches and the team. So 59% ain't going to fly. We can't be letting a team shoot like that because, look, we took 15 more shots Then the Mavericks last night, and they made one more field goal than us still. So that's no good. We shot 49%, which isn't bad. It's close to 50, but we damn for sure can't let the other team shoot 59%. That's messed up. On the three-point shooting, we did actually beat them. We made more threes than them, 13-10. That was one of the areas I said before the game yesterday that if we want to win, we should need to get more threes than them. And we did accomplish that in this one. The free throws weren't as bad as on Friday night. Friday night, the free throws really did mess us up for losing to the Bucks. We shot 75% from free throws last night, 18-24. But the Mavs got to the free throw line way more than us. So maybe there was a little bit of directing by the NBA with storylines and saying we can't have Cooper Flagg go down 0-3 to start. And Pat Frayer was giving them a line because they got 39 free throws compared to 24 for us. So that's 15 more point attempts from the free throw line. Does that make y'all feel a little bit better considering lost by 10? Now, they were aggressive and they're getting the lane, and we were a little late on defense, so that does cause more fouls. But still, 15 more attempts from the free throw line. We lost by 10. Yeah, maybe Pat Frayer was helping things on the down low. Maybe he was. They did out-rebound us 49-43. We got 33 assists, which is a good sign, but they got 32. The turnovers weren't too bad, 32-20. 32 assists and 20 turnovers for the Mavs. So we were making them cough it up, but we had too many turnovers ourselves. 16 turnovers for us, 33-16 assist to turnover ratio. They had more steals than us. That shows that in some ways we weren't playing our way if we only had 10 steals. The turnovers points, we got 30 points off their turnovers, which was good. The points in the paint, they dominated 70-58. And that's another sign that our defense down low is just not good enough. So, yeah, a tough game for the Raptors, losing to the Mavs. The game was busted wide open in the third quarter after halftime. Sandro at half saying that the first 5 minutes of the third quarter are really, really important. And, yeah, he was right, because that was when it seemed like they started to take off on us and take a huge lead from going. Actually, it was more at 6 minutes to go in the third, they busted the game open. They started really pouring it on then. And that's too bad. That's too bad. Yeah, let's see. Amit's here. Good to see Amit Gaming coming in to see us from Israel. So I hope that Amit's safe and doing well. Hey, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. I have a massive migraine, so looking at my phone hurts my eyes and head. Just wanted to say hello. Good to see you, Amit. I hope you're safe, and only good things for you, my guy. Yeah, good to see you. Jeff saying this: if we can hold Wemby and make our field goals percentage, we have a chance. Need to work on rebounding. I like this. Jeff's coming in here with a positive attitude. He's not coming in here to slag on them, mess them up for a poor performance last night. He's looking forward with a positive attitude as far as these are the things we could do tonight. This will help us. Yeah, I want to see who we guard Wemby with. Will it be Scotty? Will it be Brandon? Will it be Jakob? Who's going to guard Wemby? Who's going to get the assignment to try and stop him? Will we put Jonathan Mobo on him? Will we try Sandro on him? In some ways, this is probably the most important matchup for the Raptors tonight, is watching Wemby. And how do we deal with Wemby? Not only watching him on his offensive end, but also when we have the ball and making sure we're not going straight at him. I've noticed a proclivity of Scotty to go towards a tough defender and try and beat them. Don't do that. If you see Wemby on one side of the floor, get to the other side of the floor. Swing that ball over and get a three from the outside away from Victor. Because going straight at Victor is never a good plan, trust me. And I learned that right as soon as he came in the league as a rookie. We learned real fast that reaches very far. And going towards his side of the court is not the right idea. It's not the right idea, yeah. So, yeah, we need to shoot better. We make some of those gimme shots near the basket better. We execute on transition opportunities where we have numbers. We need to do that. And we need to cultivate those kind of transition opportunities by playing a dogged defense that makes them turn the ball over. That's right. I like all that. Shaq Lindsay saying Candace Owens. Yeah, Candace Owens. Nwanaka is back again. He's saying Wemby's about to eat us like dinner. I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's up. He has been very good so far this season. A 40-point game against the Dallas Mavericks to open the season, and he has not stopped since. He's been the leading scorer for the Spurs, and he's been playing at a high ultra level. Well, we get to see him tonight. Maybe he'll have his first off game of the season, and we can win tonight. There's always a way. Two teams take the court in an NBA game. Somebody's got to win. And, well, the Raptors do have a chance to win. They may not be the favorites tonight, but they do have a chance to win. I mean, I'll go look at the percentages on what they're saying for tonight's game as far as the ESPN matchup predictor. Let me go look at it real quick and see what they're saying, how much of a chance they're actually giving us. They're saying 63% Spurs, 37% Raptors, possibility outcome, the matchup predictor. So that's not very good odds, 63% favoring the Spurs for the game tonight. Yeah. All right, let me keep going on the tabs real quick. Instagram stories. We got Jamal Shed coming to the game last night wearing the Texas tie like a Boss Hog would. And he dressed up for Texas while being back in his home state in Dallas. Pretty cool. He's also putting on blast Dallas player, his friend Jade, who plays for the Broncos at this point, Denver Broncos. Grady coming into the game once again with shorts and a T-shirt, and he's kind of smiling and laughing. His game day fit coming in the game. Matt Devlin is showing some of the highlights last night. He's got a play where Brandon Ingram passes it out to Mambu, and Mambu dunks it down. Nice. Yeah, Mambu said, knock you out. And Sandro's been a lot of fun. There's Danielle Michaud, Alvin Williams, and Matt Devlin. It's weird having Danielle on the road with them this year. Lindsey Dunn is saying that they got an In-N-Out burger at the Dodgers Stadium in the parking lot. She's really excited about that. Of course, she's there for the World Series, and Lindsey's wearing her blue dress, and she's going to eat In-N-Out burger in the parking lot. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Raptors official. I don't know if I want to go over all the Raptors stuff from the game last night on official. There's Andrew Jones saying that Ava Jones has had 2 dominant games and 2 wins in her league so far this season. That's the Instagram stories. It's short and sweet right there. Let's see what Raptors Reddit's saying. I'm sure they're way out of pocket right now. They're saying that we're going to get traumatized by Wemby tonight, and they're posting a picture of Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, there. They are saying that they like the nickname Combo for Colin Murray Boyles. They want to call him Combo. Maybe that might get over. We'll see. ESPN hates the Raptors. Nothing new there. They're showing all the highlights against us on our page. They're all highlights against us. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit on Raptors Reddit right now. After a loss like last night, we might as well just not even look at what they're saying here, honestly. It's a waste of time, honestly. All right, let's go see the birthdays. Happy birthday to Lou Williams, 6 man. Happy birthday to you, sir. He is 39 years old today. Happy 39th birthday, Lou Williams, the great 6 man in the history of the NBA. Of course, he does a podcast now, and he's very fair to the Raptors. So salute to you, Lewis Williams, formerly of the Raptors, 6 man for a year on our team. He was on our team for only 1 year. He won the 6 man that year. And Kyle and DeMar said very much that they were trying to get Lewis Williams, the 6 man, on our team. Mission accomplished by the team. And Dwayne Casey would call Lou Williams' number every time at the end of the game. He was our clutch player, and he was the one hitting the big shot at the end. So happy birthday, Lou Williams, former Raptor, 1 year Raptor on our team. I love seeing that Miami beat New York last night, 115-107. You go on, Norman Powell, getting 29 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 3-pointers. Norman beating on his old friend, OG Anunoby. You got to love it. All right, let me do the classic card, guys. Let's get in the classic card. We're getting close to finishing up the stream for today. And yeah, if you want to have any more comments, get them in now while you can, because we're going to finish up very soon here. All right, let me shake it up. Let's get it going here. Let's see who I get. Pulling a random card out of here. Okay, this is the card. All right, I think this guy is not actually in the league anymore, but we'll play him anyway. All right, here's the classic card of the day. Full name answer will get the classic card of the day. If you can see who that is, you can name him. Write that full name answer in. You'll get the classic card points. Slug Deezy, are you on this one today? Let's see who's going to get this classic card. It's not totally old, but there you go. Yeah, Fiercey's got it. It is Mo Bamba, who has found himself on the outside of the NBA looking in. He's not in the league at this point. He did not make a team. So Mo Bamba is gone. So Fiercey's getting the classic card today. Mo Bamba, formerly of the Orlando Magic. Yeah, let's see. Let me write it in. Mo Bamba. And it's Fiercey for 50. I don't think that's a hard card. Mo Bamba is not totally a hard card. So 50 points for Fiercey on the classic card of the day. Let me do the recap. I'll read these last couple here. Roger Raymond saying, good day, Raptor Freaks. As Darko said, he's building to the end of the season. Hopefully the team improves all the areas that need attention. That's the right attitude. That is the not overreacting to everything attitude. And yeah, the team's a work in progress. We have a new major player in Brandon Ingram, and we're still trying to figure it all out around him. So there's got to be allowances for failure, and we will get the success as we work through the progress. That's right there. Yeah, Wayne's saying game broke out after Oshai missed an open three and lost the subsequent rebound for an easy Dallas layup. We lost our focus thereafter. Notice nobody mentioned Scotty complaining and stopped playing. That was an issue too. Scotty reverted to an old bad habit that we haven't seen him do in a year or so, where he got out of the play because he was too busy complaining to Pat Frayer. And meanwhile, Marshall got an easy layup where Scotty blew his coverage. Yeah, that was an issue. And I'm glad you brought it up, Wayne, because it is something I wanted to talk about today. Scotty, you can't revert to bad habits. I mean, I seen you looking back. You had a breakaway dunk, and you look back at them again. In some ways, that's a bad habit. And, well, getting out of your head with the foul in the last play and not playing defense at the other end, that's a big no-no. And I'm sure in some ways you're going to hear it from the coaches today in tape session when they look at that part and they say, yeah, Scotty, why did you do this? You haven't done this in a while, where you took yourself out of the defensive play because you're too busy arguing with the refs. That was a rookie Scotty thing, not a 4 or 5 years in the league kind of Scotty thing. So you can't do this, man. You can't do it this way, Scott. You're too far along in your career to know that you don't make this mistake. Just like Giannis showed poise on Friday night against us, not taking the bait when you got in his face and flexed in his face. No, he was a good leader. Doc Rivers gave him credit that he stayed on task and he did what he's supposed to do. That's part of becoming more veteran and more learned in the NBA is you don't take the bait. You don't take away from winning on the team for your own selfish feelings and your own kind of things like complaining to the refs. And he was guilty of this last night. He did fuck up that play. And Wayne's probably right. This is a place where the game kind of fell apart, was where he's describing it right there. That's right. Yeah, Fiercely saying, I'm back at work. I can't write too much, but still listening to this stream. I'm glad you're back at work and you're feeling better, MJ, and you're back in your good shape. All right, let me finish things up real quick. We're going to go back over the preview for tonight real quick. No injuries on the Raptors list. In some ways, I wonder if they should list Jakob on there. The Spurs, on their side of things, they do have injuries. Luke Cornett is day-to-day. Lindy Waters is out. Kelly Olynyk is out. De'Aaron Fox is out. And Jeremy Sohan is out also. So it's not the full complement of the Spurs. We will see Victor Wembanyama, Steph Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Julian Champagny, Dylan Harper. Yeah, these are going to be most of the names. Keldon Johnson, we're going to see out there. Carter Bryant. Yeah, that's the Spurs. The referees for tonight's game for the Raptors and the Spurs, Mark Lindsay is the crew chief. He statistically has favored the Raptors in the past. Ray Acosta is the referee. He statistically has favored the Spurs in the past. And Pat O'Connell is the umpire. He's a rookie ref. And both the teams playing tonight neither of them have won with Pat O'Connell available. So they're both 0-0 win percentages on that one. My stars of the game from the loss to the Mavericks last night, Scotty Barnes, number one star. Sandro Mamu Kelishvili is the second star. And Brandon Ingram is my third star. Honorable mention to RJ Barrett in that game. So you know what? We lose last night. We get a clean slate. We go to play San Antonio tonight. A new opportunity to get a win after a loss. And once again, I'll say this. Last year, the Raptors did better on the second night of back-to-backs for some inexplainable reason. So maybe the pattern will hold going into this season, and we'll see a much better effort by the Raptors against the Spurs tonight, and it adds up to a win because that's all we're doing this for is a win. We don't care if Scotty gets 30 points and almost a triple-double. All we care about is getting the win. Who cares if we win or not? Win. Who cares if we do great with stats if we don't win? That's the whole thing. We got to win, and that's what's going on there. Neil's saying, yes, Scotty looking back before a dunk is a bad habit, but he's gauging how to deliver the dunk based upon how far his opponent is. It's still really tacky. I've hated that he's done this since middle school. I don't think of this as a calling card. I think of this as a very bad, poor fundamental habit. And once again, he has had this happen to him, and it will happen again where he gets caught doing that foolish shit. And, you know, even if a guy's far enough back, and he feels like he can do it, he shouldn't be doing it. It's a bad habit. You should just go up and do it. In some ways, once again, you do that, you're trying to show up the other people. In the NBA, you don't need to give people more motivation because you're making them look bad. Seriously, that's why I didn't agree with you flexing in Giannis's face. Don't poke the bear, especially if you're not powerful enough to control the game yourself individually to make the outcome what it is. The people that can do this kind of stuff are Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, people like Giannis that can control the game and absolutely dominate the game and make the game go in your outcome. Scotty, you're not this level of player. You have not proven consistently that you can take over games and just win games solely by yourself. So you don't have a calling card to do this kind of taunting. In some ways, it's a bad look. It's embarrassing to me, honestly. I think that when you do it, I'm like, why are you doing this, Scott? You don't have the stature in this league as far as the capableness to completely alter the game at your whim to be able to do this. If you do have that ability, why the fuck aren't you doing it in games is what I would say. So it's like, don't do this, bro. You're cashing checks that you can't totally, you're writing checks that you can't totally cash out because you're not fucking showing up at the end of games, taking over and doing shit like Jordan would. Jordan, people like him could do this stuff, but you know what? Jordan wouldn't do this kind of shit because in some ways he doesn't need to. And that's part of the problem I have with it, man. It's like, if you were this guy who absolutely dominated this league and did whatever the fuck you wanted to, I would say go ahead. But you're not this guy yet. You could be this guy, but you're not this guy yet. So just stop for now. Seriously, it's a bad look, especially when we lose. You're flexing on Giannis, we lose. You're looking back at people when you dunk and we lose. It looks like a chump thing, man. It looks like a loser kind of thing when you do that because we're losing. You're not having a winning outcome at the end. That's what I'm going to say, Scott. If you're going to do Bush League shit like that, you better damn for sure get the W. Then it'll look all right. But if you do Bush League shit like that and you lose, it looks pathetic, is what I'm saying. And I love Scott. I'm a #1 fan for him. I love that dude. I want him to be the best player he can be. This is constructive criticism and me just pleading with him as an old head saying this is the shit that is unnecessary. And you make yourself look stupid when you do it. That's all. That's what I say right there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. Double duty. A reaction to Dallas, losing to Dallas, and a preview for San Antonio tonight. The keys to the victory tonight, stay away from Wemby on your offensive end. Try to stop him as best as you can. Maybe if you can't stop Wemby, stop everybody else. Rededicate yourselves to defense and rebounding and make that the priority. In some ways, your offense will come one way or another, even if it's not that good. You need to get your set baseline because everything originates from the defensive end. And if you don't have a ability to guard your own paint and guard your own basket, well, you're screwed. You're going to lose every time. We need to have a new set determination to establish the defensive energy and ability that we have again in the games and show it in the outcome. That's what I say right there. Yeah. Kareem saying, Scotty is such a troll. I just don't understand why he does this. At first, I thought it was funny, but now they're like for losing seasons, he needs to give up that gig now. Yeah, just really like stupid. It looks stupid. And in some ways, that'll make people think like, well, what is this guy? Come on. What are you doing? What have you done, bro, that you can do this to Giannis? Seriously. I mean, I want him to be competitive, but in some ways it just shows immaturity. Honestly, there's a little bit of an immaturity in doing this kind of shit, honestly. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate everybody for sticking with me for 2.5 hours this morning. I'll be back tomorrow with a reaction for the Spurs game. And remember, guys, these reaction streams are phone call shows. So if you have the number and you want to call in and have your voice on the air, you're welcome to do that. Not now. It's too late for this show. But tomorrow, if you want to call in and react to the game on the phone, you're welcome to. And we'll be doing that tomorrow. Once again, a reaction stream tomorrow. We got to beat the Spurs. Get a good effort together, Raptors, and let's make something out of this Texas two-step, and maybe we can salvage a win here. And then, you know what? We're even. We're 500, 2-2 for the season. And maybe all the chicken littling and the overreacting will be in the positive side because, wow, they beat the 3-0 Wemby Spurs, and that's a big accomplishment for the start of the season. This could happen. Seriously, this could happen. It's maybe not likely, but where there's a will, there's a way. And crazier things happen in the NBA all the time. Seriously. So let's beat the Spurs tonight. Somehow, some way. Figure it out. And hopefully Darko can light a fire under their ass. And we just see, in some ways, I would say, if it's baby steps, I just want to see a better dedication to a better defensive energy. And let's just see how well we can. This is a tough test tonight. So, maybe we can see some progress with what we're doing on the defensive end in a better way. Seriously, I'll be looking at the field goal percentage for the Spurs tomorrow. And hopefully it'll be in the 40s and not over 50% like it has been the last 2 games. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's win game 3 in LA of the World Series. And and let's get that World Series title back in Toronto by the end of this series. All right, let's go Raptors. Beat Wemby. Let's go Blue Jays. Beat the Dodgers. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo.